started, but yeah, we're on our way. Dan Bearman, welcome to the show.
Hey, first of all, you've got an incredibly sexy radio voice. I mean, you're made to do this on radio.
Your voice also sounds very good coming through these headphones.
Yeah,
it's true. Let me just get that focused. Oh, there we go. I think we're good. Do you go on Twitter?
Not a lot.
I see Elon has just bought Twitter.
I did see, and he's culling everyone by the sound of it. He's got rid of management.
Yes, he's going in there. He's cleaning house. Yeah.
He is cleaning house, and because originally that got put on hold. He tried to back out, didn't he? Is that what happened?
Yeah,
for some reason, and then he thought I'd spend $45 billion and buy it. And well, locked in legally by the sound of it, but
yeah, I think
hell of an investment.
It is. A lot of power though. Twitter's the biggest. It's got to be the biggest social media platform for daily transactions, I would think. Maybe YouTube is equally as big.
That's a good point. You wonder, return on investment for that, and is it something that's going to be here for a long time, or is it a fly-by-night? Well, it's proven itself. It's been here a long time, but will another platform come and take some of that percentage? I mean, I just can't get over what he paid for it. And look, he's no idiot, right? So,
well, there's a couple of things there. I think that the money that he paid is huge. $45 billion is a lot of money for anyone. There's been a number of people tried to set up other Twitters. You know, particularly when the whole censorship thing started a couple of years ago, and Trump got banned. So a whole heap of people there on the right were like, let's go form Truth Social. And I'm sure there's people over there, but there's still people. I think Twitter's the name brand. It's like drinking Coca-Cola. You want to be on Twitter.
Yeah. Did I read something about him the other day? Now, this might be completely wrong, that he's not as self-made as perhaps he proclaims himself to be. There's literature around where he inherited a lot of money from his father.
Yeah, I believe he did. I can't remember the numbers now, but when I say $160 million or something, or more, $600 million, whatever, along the way, I think he got a lot from.
Just interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's not that he's obviously done incredibly well since, but I remember first when he came on the scene, or a long time ago when he started getting big for whatever indiscretion he'd done at the time, maybe his fourth wife and 9 kids or something, but he kind of did make out, or the success story was that he started with rag to riches, but it wasn't quite that. It's quite interesting. I don't know where I've read that. Maybe I started reading a book over in Fiji or something, but it is a hell of an extract which, as I say, he's multiplied it by infinity. He's done incredibly well, but
yeah, he started with plenty of
money.
money.
When you get that boost, it's quite nice. You know, the old need money to make money, and in this society, that's dead right.
Yeah, that's the case. He started plenty of money from his dad, but then he did become very successful in television. You know, The Apprentice. That show ran for 10 or 11 seasons.
Yes, you're right.
That was a very successful show. So in his own right, he's done very well there. You know. In terms of business, I don't know. There was always talk that he was worth $3 billion, and then there was a lot of talk about he's not worth anywhere near that. A lot of it's inflated. So
kudos to him, and he's killing it.
Well, yeah, he's still going. He messaged. Well, I think it was legitimate, maybe not, but apparently a statement came out from him yesterday. He's expecting his Twitter account to be back and active on Monday, tomorrow. So he's hoping to be back on, which would be great. I would love it on there. For me, I love Twitter. I'm on there all the time. I don't tweet. I don't think I've ever sent a tweet.
Oh, really?
I just consume the content. It's just, news. It's such a good news source.
Yeah.
Because if something's happening now and you're on Twitter, it's like tweets are coming through now. Hey, there's a large fire going on in the south part of the city. It's like, it's coming through.
It's instantaneous, right?
Yeah, you're not waiting until 6 o'clock to go, there was a fire, but 2 hours ago the fire have put it out now.
Yeah.
You can get that stuff live. There's a whole heap of fighting on there. There's people being knob-ends on there, though, to one another. And
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a serious platform. You've got to be careful. I mean, like, the people of influence need to tone it down and rein it in a little bit, mate. It's a serious, you just nailed it. I mean, its viewership or receivership is huge. You can do some damage doing that stuff, right?
I just think there must be a lot of people who are either extremely thick-skinned about what they say when they look back at it, or they just don't see it. You know, like just the way they interact with other people. You would if your kids said some of the things people say on Twitter, you'd be like, "That's it. You're off to your room. That is not okay. That's not the way you talk to people."
Yeah.
But these are grown adults.
Yeah. Can you show my naivety on Twitter? Can you retract a tweet? Because in emotion, you can whack, and that's obviously where a lot of it old Trumpy and all that, you can fire something out there. Can they bring that back? Can they cull it?
You can delete a tweet, yeah.
Okay.
But then within the Twitter community, deleting a tweet is not seen as a good thing.
Right.
If people delete a tweet, often they'll come back afterwards and go, oh, look, I deleted that tweet because it was completely misspelt, or I left out the not in that statement, so you got the complete wrong meaning, and now I've reposted it.
Right.
Or, hey, look, I realise I've learned that subsequent to sending that tweet, I was completely wrong, or it was fake, and so I've deleted it for that reason. Right. You see that?
Yeah.
But otherwise, if people delete tweets, it's generally seen, I guess, as an admission of guilt of like what I said I shouldn't have said. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll get on it. I watch them. I mean, you see it, and they're posted, and then you think, oh, jump on that. And then, no, it's just a forum. There's so many forums now. How much? Yeah. I told you before, mate. The YouTube's got me. Yeah. I'm down that many rabbit holes in YouTube, mate. One morning, one night, I'm sitting there watching airline passengers getting angry at airline staff in the UK. And the next minute, mate, I'm hooked on this. We're right to jump around, are we?
Oh, yeah, man.
I tell you what I couldn't recommend more. There's I'm going to say Irish guy, and his YouTube channel is called The Chapter. Now, I've got a fascination, I suppose you can say it. And my wife's getting worried because it's always the husband that kills the wife on murders, right? On crime stuff. Crime docos I love. I can't get enough. And this guy's, he brings an element of humour to what is serious, true, factual murder cases. But so I'm falling down that rabbit hole, and then of course you got 6 others that are just like him. You got Coffee House Crime, and if you jumped onto my YouTube anonymously now,
serial killer,
I'm going to jail, mate. Like, I'm doing time. I've got to make sure Rachel, when she walks in the morning, mate, I've got to, with every alarm, every beeper, because it's 4:30, and love you, babe. I'm concerned for your safety, but I'm going down if she disappears. I'm telling you, someone's going to just go straight to my history, and they're going to go, mate, this guy's going. You're doing 20.
It's interesting, isn't it? Though, for some reason, those crime, the ones that I get into are the interrogation room ones. Those,
yes. Yeah. The tactics on those guys,
Yeah, some of them are real good.
Some of the old ones, the American cops, you think, mate, what are you doing? But there's always a method to how they suck it out of them.
Yeah, trying to get them to finally admit to what went on.
Some of them like an hour and 32 long, and you just watch it. Yeah, it's awesome how they do it. But
and some people, when they've committed a crime, like they're guilty, and they know they're caught, but they can't get to the point of admitting it there. But they're still just going, well, some nonsensical comment they're repeating, and you're like, man,
and these guys are picking up on it, and then they're just leading on the question, and then they often say, you can see the relief when they actually crumble and get it off their chest.
Yeah.
I was watching something the other day, a guy in prison, and it was so bad, obviously not a nice guy, but so bad in the general population and losing privileges and the things he was doing, that he just gassed his cellmate just to get on death row. Death row has better meals.
Wow.
Sell to yourself. Got his TV back. And that's all he wanted to do. I mean, he's never getting out anyway. So he thought, what I'll do is I'll just shank this guy while he's sleeping in the neck a dozen times. Call the guard. Nonchalant, mate. Guard.
This has happened.
Cracked it.
I did
shanked him.
Get me out of here.
Take me. But then he had to fight for 4 or 5 years legally to, to prove that he wasn't insane. And the defence lawyers trying to say, mate, because they could see what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Life's pretty bad when
that's your option, and your preferred option.
I just want to have a cell to myself for the TV, but he got all his privileges back. The food's 5 times better.
There's a guy on YouTube. I've just noticed him recently. I don't know if he's been around for a long time, but he seems to be sort of caning it in terms of turning up in feeds at the moment. I think it's Johnny Mitchell is his name. Seems like a young dude, like maybe he's 40, who was in the 90s, he got into drug dealing in the States, like selling pot. I think he was at uni. Didn't want a job. Him and his mates just started selling pot, and they're like, we're making no money selling this and making $50 a week. So they moved up until they found some guys up in the mountains who were the growers, and then that was their contact. And so then they started shifting pounds across, and then he met some Italian guys from the East Coast, and they're like, if you could get us that, we'll sell that for $3,000. And he's like to his mate, we could be making $2,000 a pound or a kilo. So they start doing that. And then eventually he got taken down and got busted and went to prison for a period of time. So he's doing a series of little podcasts at the moment, and talking about being in prison. He talks about his first day in prison.
Really, it fascinates me, man. We should be showing the Ram Raiders this stuff, mate, and deterrent, because it's an incredible journey they go through. And imagine every day, all day, being stuck in there.
Yeah.
How many press-ups and sit-ups you can do in a day. And
Just the stress of like what is going on, who is trying to take me down. He on his first day he saw some guy who was from the head of the Aryan Brotherhood. Because they've got in the prisons in the States, they've got the white gangs and black gangs and the Latin gangs. And so he's white. And so the guys are like, oh, right, come and talk to us. And they come up to him, they say, oh, you're silly. So this is his first day. He's like, you're silly. He's like, yeah, cellmate. He's got a jacket. And so he goes, a jacket means his paperwork's bad. So when you turn up in prison, if you've just done crimes, you're okay. But if you've done anything like, pedophile, that sort of stuff, or sexual crimes against kids and that, you've got bad paperwork. And so they said to him, so are you going to sort it out? And he's like, okay. And then realising they're asking him to kill the guy on his first day in his cell because this. So he went and spoke to the guy and he said, look, I've got to take you down. And the guy's like, why? He said, your paperwork's bad. He said, my paperwork's not bad. He said, I was just smoking crack with some kid. Nothing happened. And so this Johnny Mitchell decided, okay, I'm not doing this. I'm not spending a life in prison for these guys. And the other guy, though, apparently helped him out and basically started screaming to the guards, help, my cellie's attacking me. He's attacking me. And the guy, he's like, I'm not doing anything. He's attacking me. Get me out of here. And so he got moved out. And he said what he didn't realise at the time, but realised later, was that guy was actually helping him. And he found a situation to help both of them. He got out there. Johnny Mitchell didn't have to stab him, but everyone's thinking, oh, this guy must be hard because his cellie's trying to get out of there and screaming for help. So, just the way you navigate through life.
How do you navigate prison, mate?
No, that's a nightmare.
It is, mate. Well, we got to, how do I word it? So we've got one of our labourers, great guy, come on full time. He's been with us for a bit. Anyway, he had an altercation where he was living with someone who was trying to steal his car. And he's got a bit of a background to him, but boy, he's the best worker we've got, mate. He always turns up, like nothing, never sick days, works real hard. Boys like him on site, just does a great job. Anyway, he had this altercation and he come off second best as in with the law. Yeah. So he's probably got a history more than the other guy. Look, he's living in a housing environment where, no one in that block of flats or houses were great people with great histories. Yeah. So he was maybe just got caught out. Anyway, long story short, he didn't turn up to work on Monday. We're thinking that's not right, and got a call. He rang, came through to my business partner, and he couldn't get out. He had the crime that he was in there for, let's say, was pretty minor in the scope of things, but bad enough that there's probably a few other things going on over past. So he's getting stuck in there. So now, again, long story short, he's probably locked up for 3 months. Now he could have got out after a week, but he had no environment to go to, right? So couldn't go to his dad's, couldn't go to his sisters, who subsequently I found out lived together. Again, I met them both, lovely people, just probably the past dictates that the correction system just tick boxes, right? And that's what I started to learn, this whole thing. I don't want to be negative on it, because wouldn't be an easy job being corrections, but that whole time, so we sent multiple letters saying he has employment. I bought a van so he could use full time. I had a builder, one of my full-time builders, offered a place for him to stay as an interim, which we agreed to, and said it's got to be for a definite period. It can't be forever. He's got to get back on his feet, because I'm remembering he's not in for murder or anything. Yeah. So he's monitored and everything. He's got to be monitored. So we supplied so much. That's nothing to I'm not trying to be self-gratitude, but we supplied, because he was a good worker, so much support. We guaranteed him a job. We bought a vehicle for him. Just worked his hours that they work, and everyone thought, no, the corrections was all positive feedback, but it still took 3 months. Yeah, well, maybe not quite, maybe 10 weeks to get out. Now, he's back with us now after a couple of weeks, but what a rigmarole, and here we are, and this is where people, he was further to that, very minor offence in the big picture, but he was stuck in 23 hours a day. So he got out an hour a day. Now, this is stuff we're talking about here for shanking someone, or that's what you assume, but this is a guy that got in a scuffle. Yeah. No one's dead, no one's hurt, badly, and he was on the wrong side of it. So he finally got out, but even with all that support, and I remember speaking to his lawyer, who, she seemed nice enough, but really didn't care, mate. Like, disappointed lawyer, probably got 100 cases on her desk, probably overworked, so I shouldn't really judge her, but just really, no support. You think you'd have a little bit of personality and want to help someone, you got other people here. I understand that people have got nothing to go to, but this guy had from 6 weeks ago had support. Yeah. And finally came out. And I mean, he's super grateful and everything. He hasn't changed. He's even better dude than what he was, I like having hon my side, put it that way.
Yeah.
But again, all he wants to do is work. He said to a couple other people, it's the first time anyone's ever backed him. He's never had that. It's always because he's mixed with the wrong people quite a lot. I mean, he's no saint, but hell of a nice guy. Yeah. Really nice personality, very respectful. Everyone really likes having him. And he's just jumped on the opportunity. So now it's up to us to further it and find some accommodation and get him back. But back on his feet, and how we do that, we don't know. We'll do it one day at a time. But the flip side to that is that it puts a lot of pressure when people are trying to help. That if Craig decides, my builder decides that, hey, mate, it's 8 to 10 weeks now when we're getting the long side, I want my life back a little bit, because it's quite restrictive with the monitoring. We've got to make sure we've got the process in place that we can get him to a point where he can be on his own or get his own place, because otherwise it's, straight back, so to speak. He's on, he can't be breaking the conditions. Same with the monitoring conditions and things. So you still got to be a little bit careful and keep an eye on what's happening. But yeah, it's hard to, I don't know, our corrections, it was an eye-opener, mate. It was, it just seemed so simple. Again, I won't say the details of it, but it was nothing that you're not going to cringe at it and go, that guy's dangerous. Nothing like that. Yet he was still 23 hours a day in a cell, often with one cellmate, who he just said he couldn't wait to get out, mate, for obvious reasons. That was my risk. I thought he comes back, and he was a great bugger before he went in, but that can, it's a long time. You can have the world against you and a bit of a chip on your shoulder, and he didn't, to his credit, man. It shows what a good dude he is, the personality he is. He's not like that at all when he's coming. He's even better than what he was. But that system, more people need to be made aware of the system and the glamour that they think it is, eh?
Oh, for me, just the whole process, like once you get into the system, the stress that you're under, I think people just don't realise, because you might get booked for something. You get booked out Saturday night, something happens, you get booked for it. But then it might be months before you go to court. So all that time, every night you're going to bed thinking, why did I do that? What could I do different? What's going to happen? So you got months of that. Yeah. And then you might get done, and then you go away for a period of time, and that's just a whole different world. You're not going to come out of that the same person, spending time in prison.
And the flip side is the mentality of people, because in the States, you're in there, right? Once you're convicted and you're not coming out, how do you just not turn into worse than you are, mate? Every day is not going to change.
I saw an interview this a couple of years ago with a guy who would be, I'm going to guess he's about 50 now. And he told his story. He said, look, I went in as a 20-year-old guy. I think he went in for like marijuana or something like that. I went in, something happened. Someone picked on me. I hit him. It started into a real fight. They tried to kill me. I killed him in the fight. So I became a lifer. So this dude, he was like, he said, now I'm a hard man. He said, you don't mess with me, and that's how I survive in here. Like, he's been very open about his life, but how his life had just been gone from a regular kid, busted for some pot, into prison, and now never getting out, murdered people in prison. Just
crazy, eh?
Yeah.
Split decision, defence, sure, but split decision, it's just changed life. And just what you just said, like he said that, don't mess with me, I'm hard every day to survive. Imagine that's your life, every day watching you back.
Yeah.
I mean, life's hard enough. That's outside, let alone going in there.
What must the suicide rate be like in prison? Must be through the roof.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be publicised, right?
No, but would it have to be?
You cannot tell me that, nah.
Yeah. There's a really good show. This is where I saw it anyhow. Called the World's Toughest Prisons.
Yeah.
You seen that guy? Yeah. Do you see the one where he was over in one of the Nordic or Scandinavian countries where they have this whole different approach to the prison system?
No.
They say, look, being in prison is the punishment. You're away from your family. You can't go and see your kids. You can't see your girlfriend. You can't go to the movies. You are in prison for a period of time. That's the punishment. Us being bastards to you, on top of that, is just cruelty. So what they have done with this prison, I think it's an experimental one for them to just test out how this works. They basically, you turn up, they take you out of your cuffs. The cells are really nice. You've got lots of freedom to do things within the prison. They treat you really nicely within the prison. Like this, whether it was all staged or not, but there's plenty of footage of the guards sitting down, having coffee, playing cards just with the inmates during the day, just hanging out together. And what they're finding from this prison is that the reoffending rate after leaving this prison is about a quarter of what the normal reoffending rate is.
Really?
And they're talking to the guys in there, and the guys are all again, you don't know how much of it's staged and select cherry picked, but these guys are going, yeah, look, I work in the kitchen now. I love it. I've got a job. I like the way this prison works. I'm not an animal. Yes, I murdered someone, but it was like an emotion sort of thing. I'm not a serial killer. I can't see my family. I'm stuck in here. The way they treat us in here is really good. I'm learning stuff. And so basically they've said, yeah, okay, you've done something wrong. You're in prison for a period of time, but let's not just torture you and twist you and make you evil and worse. So when you come out, you're just resentful and angry. Instead, we're like, look, you're in, but let's make it as good as we can. Lots of training, lots of help, lots of support. And when these people are getting out, they're like, okay, I've done my time, but I don't feel like society has just treated me like a piece of shit or a dog,
It's a good point. It's hard, eh? What do you go to? Like emotional, especially some of those bad buggers that, kill kids and families or whatever, and you just instantly say, mate, just 23 hours a day locked up's too little.
I think for some crimes, you just shouldn't get out.
Yeah, I agree. But at the different scale, in America, you murder someone, you pretty much, you're a lifer.
Yeah.
Over here, like I was watching a rerun of that nut job that killed that lovely tourist, that Grace Mullane thing.
Oh, yeah.
And what that Jesse dude, I think, mate, most of our stuff's like 15 to 20 years. And don't get me wrong, it's a long period of time, but there's a massive, it's like a different pay parity scale between us and the States. You just get, boom, you're gone. And maybe it's a resource thing, and we probably is. I think jails are huge. We just got a couple.
I think you've got to kind of look at some of the intent of the murder. Like was the murder something where maybe you're out, you were pissed, a fight started, you got into a fight, you hit someone, they fell over, hit their head, and they died. It's like a manslaughter sort of thing. It's like no one planned that.
Agree.
But then when it's like, oh, you've stalked someone, you've taken them home, you've killed them, you've cut them up, you've lied about it and hidden it and all that sort of stuff. It's like that person just shouldn't be out to do that again.
Agree. There's something fundamentally wrong with them, eh? Like, go buy a suitcase and cut them out, hire a car, hire a spade. Yeah. Watching his interview process was quite interesting. The cop that interviewed him on that doco, they didn't show a lot of it, but you could see him from his persona on the first half hour, and then the cop left. They picked their time, and then he knocked on the door, and the cop opened and said, "You all right, man?" He sort of says, "Look, hey, just to clarify, I'm under some kind of suspicion or under arrest if I've done nothing." His persona, and then cop started putting the heat on the man. Did you ever see that Chris Watts?
Oh, I got the one who killed his family. Oh, yeah.
You kind of, as it came out of my mouth, this is morbid to talk about because it was disgraceful. I mean, it's just every way, but I just got fascinated. That's what got me into this crime.
Same. I think that was the case that got me in as well, because it was just so, I couldn't comprehend how you could be him and lie about that and pretend to be frightened and worried about your wife and your daughters, and you just murdered all three of them.
Unbelievable. What he did. And then the backstory to it, and the mistress, and then just, I don't want to get to that side because it's gross, but what he did, took them all the way out to the oil wells, and stuff, mate, and then you find out some of the facts. You think, oh, mate, hopefully they're all dead. Then you find out they weren't on the way out there.
I know.
Mate, it's that's all for what? Like, and it's always the case. You always just go, mate, just get divorced. Just walk, mate.
Yeah, just do some other way.
She's moved on with her life, the mistress now. We know she's probably had to go to ground by the sound of it, but she's still fine, mate. You're stuck. You're never getting out.
Yeah.
Your life's changed like that over, what do you do? Escape for a couple of holidays with her and went camping with her, and you're going to kill your family for it.
I know.
You got some issues, dude. That's bad.
That's real bad. But that was intriguing, though, because of the video footage that was there. Like when the police are interviewing him and the neighbours there, and the neighbours looking at the cops going,
how is that?
This is where he doesn't act like that normally. Something's up. And,
exactly what I thought. And then he had that footage, and then he was, trying to justify it. And the cops, and he see him put his head on and look back and just freaking out when he realised he's on the footage of the doorbell cam.
Yeah.
And, mate, it's and then this is morbid as well, but right in that footage, what intrigued me was his reaction when he's watching the video at the neighbour's house, and then on comes an ad for unborn baby, the abortion ad. Like, mate, there's something that you're getting caught, mate. Someone above is putting everything in place. But what a fascinating story! And just watch him cart the stuff out to the ute, and he never backs his ute, and what a twisted, sick dude, man.
I mean, trying to commit a murder and get away with it today, it's got to be pretty tough to do. You'd have to almost convince the person to top themselves. Yeah. Otherwise, there's just so much ability to track DNA, cameras around. Like, you don't know where a camera's going to be when you drive. There's a thing in Victoria a year or two ago. I think the husbands are now maybe admitted it, but woman went missing. And then 2 years later, they find a body out of this little town outside of Melbourne. They find a body. And then, surprisingly, at like a train crossing intersection just near there on that day, there's footage of a husband's Mercedes driving past. But he's like, oh, no, I just randomly went for a drive out to the country that day.
It's always the way, the car,
yeah.
slow freeze frame past the neighbour. Sometimes they make it out of, if it just needs to be red, and then the husband or the killer's car's red, then that's how they start backtracking. It's like that, the Grace Millane thing. I mean, they had video footage of the ITM in Whenuapai, him buying a spade. I mean, the guy's, and then all the links up from there. It's a chain. I mean, I don't know how they investigate it. They must have people just full-time doing geographical areas looking for cameras, right? Or they must have, police must have access, but...
Well, they must be getting software now. I think I was talking to Ed about this the other day. He was saying somewhere in the UK, something like that happened. A kid was abducted from a school, and so they basically said, well, what does that person look like? Or they found a picture of the kid with the person walking away from school on some security camera, and let's say the guy had a green jacket on, green hoodie. So they just basically ran some software over all their cameras around the area and just looking for anyone in a green top. Oh, okay, here's a guy. Oh, that's him in the green hoodie. Okay, they're over there. And apparently tracked the guy down and rescued the kid like really quickly. But there's London, man, it's just crawling with CCTV cameras. They're everywhere.
Away with anything, are you?
No.
Nah, it's you're right though. I mean, you want to just put murder on the back burner for a couple of years. I mean, it'll come up. Murderers they'll flourish again, but just not right now, right?
Yeah. The interesting thing I saw this week, there's all of the facial and people recognition software. So you have a camera looking over a city street, and it's like picking up all the bodies. Like that's a person, that's a person, that's a person, that's a person. These guys have invented a jumper that you can wear, and when you wear it, it doesn't pick you up as a person because the jumper itself sort of has it looks, I guess, a bit like a street scene with lots of little people and random shop fronts and bicycles and stuff on it. And so the camera just goes, oh, that's just random background. And so this dude's like walking right up to the camera like this and then taking his jumper off and it goes, person. Surprise. And it puts his jumper back on. No person. Yeah.
There's a show like that, and I'm just going to be a silly thing to say because I can't remember the name of it. But it's exactly that. It's recognition software, and that's how the good guys solve it. They just track everyone through the city. It's a great show, quirky. It's an American show. It'll come to me.
A documentary
or an actual series?
Oh, series, yeah.
And when it came out, like we started watching it 2 or 3 years ago. It's not new, but it's exactly what you've just described.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
We're so slow to get everything, but then it's like, this is crazy.
The thing I saw today, this is this morning on Twitter. So with the Russian-Ukrainian war that's going on, so there's all this use of drones. Yeah. And I think the comment just said war has changed. And so there's a dude sitting down in his army fatigues with his back resting against the wheel of some sort of big truck and a set of VR goggles on like this.
Flying.
And then you see the drone. And this drone's got a range of 10 kilometres and a top speed, I think, of 100 k's an hour. And it just goes, zzz, takes off. And then you get the camera's view from the drone. And I don't think this was enemy that he was going for. I think this was probably just friendlies, but he's just showing what they do. So this drone just goes flying along and then drops down to the ground. It's on a roadway and there's a big 6-wheeler personal carrier or some sort of thing truck up there. And it just above ground height just goes zzz, and goes under the back wheels. And then just goes all the way along under the truck and then pops out the front. And you're just thinking, oh, my God, you wouldn't even hear it. This thing's got a mine attached to it. And it just goes underneath your truck and just goes.
It's changed, eh?
Yeah.
That's still, unbelievable, that conflict. I remember when it was mooted months ago now. And you think, well, they're not going to
kick off a war in the middle of Europe.
War, mate.
This is 2022.
Yeah, it's like that. Honestly, it was, wasn't it? Like the news article was. I don't even think news stations. It was in between the football results between Chelsea and Manchester and some NBA basketball results, and Putin is threatening to have a little bit of a war with Ukraine. Everyone's war with Ukraine. Classic Putin. Putin, you little. And then bang, it's just gone mad.
Yeah.
And how's that retaliation? I mean, it's such a brutal thing because we're seeing them retaliate and hold them off, and everyone's celebrating Ukraine and God, they're mate. But I mean, 60% of the country's in darkness. They've got no power.
Yeah, the whole thing's horrible. I mean, people are. This is kind of one of those things that gets me. People are like on Twitter and YouTube celebrating. Yeah, some Russian orcs got slayed. I'm like, they're 21-year-old kids, They probably got drafted or conscripted or got paid a fucking shitload, like way better than they can make at home to go out and do this. Think they'll probably be okay.
Yeah,
those kids just got blown to bits.
They're not coming back.
They're not Putin or Zelensky making this war, Biden making this war happen. They're just the fodder that's getting chewed up.
It's bad, mate.
Yeah, whether you're Ukraine or Russian, it's not good.
Yeah, you're seeing it, and you're right. They make it a bit lighthearted when they were doing the old compulsory, and they were seeing the Russians just in their tracksuits and they don't know what they're doing, mate.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to get out and try and fly out of the country. They can't get away.
Yeah.
His support must be dwindling. He must have the best Putin. That this must have the most crazy security around him, man. Because surely he's got to be the 2022 Bin Laden now, doesn't he? He must have a target everywhere he goes.
I think that about a lot of the big political people. Actually, the person that made me think about this was the Queen.
Yeah.
Before she died, for whatever reason, I was thinking about that. I thought, she's surprisingly brave when she does go out to all these public things, because there's plenty of people who don't like the Queen and don't like the monarchy, and she's an old lady. What's she going to do?
Yeah, you're right.
And that's right. And this was around the time a couple of months ago where it was after the Japanese ex-president, prime minister, had been assassinated, and then it was in Argentina or somewhere. It was the vice president. Some dude just at a rally pulls out a pistol at her face, and the gun didn't fire. But it's making me think, every time she must have had plenty of intel going, well, look, ma'am, there are people out there who don't like you. It's I'll just go and stand on the front of this little tower for the afternoon, shall I, with no bulletproof glass.
Grab the corgis, I'm going out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's ruthless, man. And yeah, I don't know. I just can't believe he's lasted that long. He is this is a bit weird, but remember that iconic photo of old mate Putin doing a bit of fly fishing with no top on? I think I saw a picture of him the other day. He's my height. I think he's a pygmy. He's in a room with a whole lot of people that look normal size, and he's made out to be this
big buff guy.
I'm sure he's actually quite.
Well, yeah, that bear that he rides around is actually just a miniature bear.
It's what we talked about before. It's a little dog with a costume, hey? It's just, he's more to it. I'm not going to judge what he's doing and stuff, but he must be. Yeah. He must go to bed worrying about if he's going to get up, mate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you'd have to be. You would think you would have to be. You got people testing your food and all that sort of thing, testing your drinks.
They seem to be quite good at slipping
the poison.
Yeah. He must think.
The Ruskies like their poison.
And all his family are getting, all his nieces and that are all, what they call them, the Russian Paris Hiltons, they're all having to flee.
Yeah.
They're all oligarchs and money. It's just gone crazy.
That's another interesting part of it. Given the fact that for the last 50 years, the Western world's been right, everyone, let's get integrated and trade together. We trade here and trade there. And so all these Russians buying houses in London and dumping all their money there. And suddenly, now we can't be friends with you. Well, what happens to all the properties we've got there?
Or the boats, what are the super yachts just parked around the world?
All the boats.
They're just been disowned for right or wrong. It's crazy the way. And how do you recover from this, man? How do things go back to normal? I mean, you got China and India sort of stuck in the background. I mean, they're doing the best trade of their lives with resource with Russia now, It's
yeah, exactly. And reselling a whole heap of oil back, we didn't buy it from Russia, we bought it from India.
Yeah, look, you can see the barrel's got made in India on it. Send it back. It's life's changing, mate. The world's changing.
Yeah, I really feel, look, who knows what the ultimate goal is of the people who are controlling it, but I feel like the West should just be going, okay, stop this. Look, we've got to be friends with Russia. We're far better off to just be friends with Russia and trade with Russia and diffuse them as being a foe. It's not like it was. It's not the USSR anymore. It's Russia. They've proven that they're not a world power.
No.
This
has proved it now.
Yeah, this is
really.
It has. It's proven it. Yeah, I think beyond any shadow of a doubt. Yeah. It's not like Putin's now going to turn around and go, okay, now we're going to war. Things are going to get really changed.
I'm going to really turn it up now. We're going to go level 3, everyone.
Yeah. We've had 9 monts of them throwing everything they've got. They're using Navy missiles to hit ground-based targets and shit like that.
Well, they're taking out power stations. That's how they can do it, right? It's a bit scary. The old nuclear thing's a little bit scary. But again, I just don't think they've got the might.
No, they don't. So in some respects, again, you see a lot of people online, they're like, oh, if you say something like that, you're pro-Putin. I was like, actually, I'm kind of just thinking about the country of Ukraine.
Trying to save lives, mate.
Yeah, Ukraine is just being royally fucked over.
Correct. So they're going to retaliate and they're going to look like bravery, and then this will pass over maybe, say, 9 months. It looks like it's over, mate. They're picking up pieces. And they're going to pick up pieces for as long as they can.
What's left? Smouldering rubble and concrete through a whole heap of the Ukraine.
No one's won off that, mate.
No. That's not a win for the Ukraine.
No. And all Putin's the best part of that, though, I must say, was all the all his vehicles and that were all running it. They didn't think it would last that long. They ran out of gas, 2 kilometre long trucks and 6-wheelers. Everyone's run out of juice. It's all broken down. I mean, it's all old stuff too. Like the might, all these. I mean, apart from China, when you see them Tiananmen Square and everyone's marching, but the propaganda pictures you see of the might of the Russian army, but there's no close-ups. Half the tanks look like a 1992, a lot of it is bongo van painted green. It's like, mate, that's not good stuff. It's all broken down, and
that's the thing. There's a guy has a YouTube channel, Perun, Perun. It's real good. You'd love him. Check out Perun. He's I don't know his background exactly, but I would suggest that he's a military logistician from worked with the Australian government, maybe something like that. Right. Aussie guy, and he does this weekly PowerPoint. Even he laughs about it because he does his PowerPoint. I've never seen his face. He's never seen. He's just got his PowerPoint, but his commentary and his knowledge around the logistics of what's going on in the Ukraine-Russian war is just fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, and so he talks about why were all these things breaking down like that, and just goes through the reasons as well. For the last 20 years, there's been a whole heap of corruption, and so guys who've been in the army given money to go and maintain all those tanks or all those trucks, don't worry about changing, turning those tyres around every 6 months like we're meant to. Just leave them; they'll be fine. They're going to use them. Yeah. And now they roll them out, and they've got flat dead spots on them. Like, well, how do we get new ones? Oh, well, we stopped making those ones 3 years ago, so you can't. Oh shit, we'll take it out like it is. Oh, it falls over. Just a whole heap of that, or young guys in the army being paid so little. And they meant your job is to look after those 50 old tanks in that shed. Okay, the ones we're never going to use, covered in dust. Fuck it, let's just go strip all the copper out of them and sell them. All right, we need those old tanks. Well, they don't work anymore. Someone must have snuck in and stolen the copper. And this has just been happening apparently on a grand scale. Yeah.
I do, without going too much more into the death and the murder, what about that Melissa Caddick?
I reckon, this is just my take, this is my personal opinion, she paid a surgeon to chop her foot off, and she's living in the Philippines.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't pick the Philippines, but that you don't just find a foot and nothing else. Come on.
Yeah.
Surely there'd be a little femur or something floating around.
A little
metatarsal finger or something floating around.
I just figure that she was smart enough, she had enough cash on the line that you'd go, I could live without a foot.
Yeah.
I can get a prosthetic foot. But if a foot turns up, then they're gonna they're gonna think I'm gone. They'll stop looking for me.
She's living without a foot, without the partner, without her son. Pretty big sacrifice, but the money is obviously more important to her, right?
Money's pretty important.
And how did she get out? Speaking of CCTV, that street she's in is littered with people with cameras. Well, never got picked up, did she?
Well, this is okay. So that was what I just said. That was my original take on it. That's definitely my original take. I remember texting my dad and going, "Dad, this doesn't smell right. I reckon the foot's just a." No, well, I think I said something like originally. I said, "Oh, I bet you she turns up," and then the foot turned up, and he said, "Looking pretty convincing." I was like, "Nah, she paid a doctor to cut a foot off." But then, not long ago, I read something about her husband. Is it her new husband, or were they a boyfriend?
Yeah.
Or what? He was doing some weird stuff on the day that she went missing, apparently.
Really?
So maybe he did. Maybe he was involved. Yeah, generally it's the husband. So maybe it was him, or maybe he was involved in getting her out so that she could get to the surgeon.
Yeah, maybe. And you can't have contact.
This is just an opinion.
No, I agree. But him, I think about it all the time. I think, and then it comes back on. It's a fascinating backstory. She's been a crook for a long time. It's all coming out, but that means that he couldn't possibly, neither could the son, have any type of, it's not like the movies we can have a burner Nokia 3210 and no one's going to know. I mean, they must be under that house, every communication. He gets followed all the time.
Yeah.
That's a big sacrifice, but maybe the money's big enough. She spends pretty quick. I'd say she'll blow it before they get back together.
Yeah, well, some people, I think the money's more the thing than than the family. Some people have the family or get the family along the way, and they're not that into them.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's made a choice.
Yeah, but that's weird. I wonder what it was about the news coverage of that made us think that.
It fascinates me. I keep looking for more. But the stuff when you Google it now to try and find more information, it's pretty much all been hammed out. But all the forged documents when she was initially got into finance, was never qualified.
Yeah.
Forged your qualification.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty good financial advisor that doesn't have financial advice.
That's something. Don't you reckon it's weird when you hear about a doctor faked his credentials? You're like, how does a doctor fake their credentials?
He's been working there for 3 months. Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah. What's he been doing surgery? Yeah. Right. Didn't anyone pick up on that or notice?
It's like weird offside, but I've got a really good mate of mine, Jack. He's He's an electrician. Well, he was an electrician by trade, and now he's a financial wealth advisor. He's got his own business and doing incredibly well. But it's funny. It's just I couldn't think of a more broad spectrum way to go. He started off as a sparky, bless him, loved the trades, and then just decided I don't know when or how, I've never got right to his backstory, but he's he's passionate about it, right?
Yeah.
So he sends out spreadsheets every week to look at and see what it's doing. And, that looks great. Delete. But he is into it. He's got a great business, like growing, because he's like us. He's just a good bugger that gives good advice. Obviously, he's got a great portfolio, got a lot of good investors that trust, but just a complete left field. But he says it's quite intense, even in the New Zealand market. He worked for Westpac. The point of the story is the qualification, how she, going back to the she bluffed everyone for so long.
Mm.
I often want to say to him, mate, can you bluff in your game, mate? So, how do you get by? I mean, if you're a mum and dad investor, I suppose all you can do is...
Well, that's the thing.
What do you look for?
Now, I think once the money's in, once you give them the money and they say, well, here's the pot, then you can just send out the fraudulent reports and go, oh, this month everything's grown. And you're like, oh, well, I trust them. That's good. The money's growing. Oh, the money's growing. No, the money's going.
Yeah, it's going all right.
Oh, look, it's still growing. Oh, maybe should we put some more in? Look, you can't miss out on this opportunity. We're doing so well here. Yeah, you'd be mad to miss out. Come on, put a couple. All right, we'll put the kids' savings into that one too. Okay. Whew, fuck, we're doing so well. Oh, what? You mean? What do you mean she's gone? Where's the money? Oh, there is no money. What money? What do you mean there's no money?
What do you mean there's a foot in a New Balance shoe? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she conned everyone. Like mum and dad. She ripped off her mum and dad.
Yeah,
actually, back to your point, that just completely sums it up. The money means everything, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't even care about mum and dad.
No, that's...
Son.
We'll have to, if it happens, if it turns out that they find her in the Philippines in 2 years' time, we'll come back on for another episode.
We'll do a Melissa Caddick special.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Imagine we would go in depth, mate. We'd do some reporting.
I've thought a couple of times of being an investigative reporter, journalist, but then I thought it's too hard.
And also, and all that stuff you're going to get wind of in the detail and what you hear and see. You've got to bottle that up. I mean, if you're a good one, you're going to find out some details that perhaps are going to haunt you for life and just bottle up.
I've got great respect for the people who are actually proper investigative journalists. Yeah. Go out there, dig around, look, balance stuff, get lots of opinions. Looks like this is happening. Here I can kind of back it up with that. As opposed to lots of the reporters and media today who just spout fluff.
Yeah. And I think you're born to do that. That's a skill. I reckon you're going to have to be. You're tenacious if you're going to do that, mate. You're going to, and you're not going to take no. You're just going to be that guy, or that girl that just digs. Yeah, that'd be cool though. Be good.
So because I've got kids now, it's given me a look, a view about some people who are like just super successful in life, and I don't think I could commit like they do to some of the things that they do because I've got kids. Kids they take up so much time. They demand it. They deserve it. They need it. Yeah. Taking them to sports, just spending time with them, playing with them, thinking of things for them to do, and all that kind of thing. And then and I often wonder about some kids whose like parents are just hyper successful in some fields, and wonder what the relationship is like with them. Like how much time do they get with their kids because they're if they're media celebrities, they're out there all the time, or Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods and those sort of things, the peak of their career. Do they get any family time? Or
I think you nailed it. How could you? The dedication to becoming, whether it be sport or work-wise, or how do you define successful? But it all takes time. Mate. We don't have any kids, but we don't have time. I mean, we could create time. Time is a valuable commodity that everyone wants, right? You got to grab it, and we're trying. I think we're all trying to do that in life somehow. Trouble is, you always think, I do the same thing. I work too long, and then I think, when you get a scare or morbidly you go to a funeral or something, you always sit there. It's human nature. You go, mate, I've got to change things. We had a friend pass away recently. She's only our age. Battled cancer really quick and terrible. And you go, we did change something here. We need to try and balance life. And then a week later, you're doing the same thing. Well, it's ridiculous. It's just you kind of done it. I mean, I met you. You guys had the crazy cool apartment. You're in Ponsonby. I think Willa was only real young.
Real young. Yeah.
And then. Now look, it's just a complete swing, mate. Are you loving it? You must do. This is look, you got a cool house, your kids are awesome, but I mean that is just saying that's success, isn't it, man? That's what you're talking about. I mean you cracked it.
So I tell you what, I as I've grown older too, and having kids gives you this perspective on things. Like for me, it wasn't until I had kids for a couple of years I started to be able to better consider my relationship with my parents. because I was able to kind of go, oh, okay, now I see what you were seeing and what you did and you went through. And honestly, having had the opportunity to start to see that has just made me appreciate what a pair of champions my parents are. Absolute role model champions. Nice, conservative, stable, fun, social people. You couldn't ask for better parents.
Nice, good call.
You know, but it's, as a kid, I'm growing up, I want to be a rock star, grow my hair long, do all this stuff, go out and party and blah, blah, blah. Just fine as a kid, but I guess my dad just was looking at me going, oh, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, wait, boy. Wait.
But now that I look at them, honestly, I just think they did such a good job of just creating that home, that stable home for the kids. And that's the sort of thing that I want to try and do as a parent because I've had the kids. Yeah. So that's the commitment.
You can't hand them back, mate.
No, I can't hand them back. And I can't just go, I've had enough of them now. You've got to, so now I've got to, for the rest of my life, try and build that stable environment for them. Doesn't matter if they're 10 or they're 20 or they're 30 or they're 40, they're going to need me at some, if I'm still around. So.
I mean, they're probably a bit young to be thinking of this now. I always think, a lot of my friends got kids and obviously yourself, and does your time not get absorbed, but I mean, I'd be constantly looking, going, what are my kids going to do? I reckon it'd be a fascinating thing. If I had kids, I'd just be thinking, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because the kids got personalities, right? Well, they all have, and sometimes you can pick them, and sometimes be completely left field. But I always ask mates, well, what do you think? What do you think it's going to do? Wouldn't have a clue, mate. Yeah. Like, one day he's doing this, the next day, one's best buddy's got 3 kids, and he's got, they're all a broad spectrum of ages, but 2 of them are complete extroverts, one's a complete introvert. Lovely kids, all of them are lovely, but just such a dynamic mix, mate. And I just go around there, and go, Jesus, how do you do this? How do you do this 24 hours a day? Rachel and I will go around for dinner. We have a great time, and they're my god kids, and we just and all my friends with kids, and then we just go home and go, well, you're fucked. I drive home in the car, just going, I'm mentally drained, mate. Yeah. My bulldog pulls my strings, but I love my bulldog. That was the point before. It was just such a different life swing for people, and mate, my mates are all the same. They all live life and done it, but they'll just embrace it. It's a wicked. You see people change. You've got to. It's
a weird thing physiologically when you have children, when your wife's pregnant and you've got kids and they're on the way, and then you have little kids. For a couple of years there, you just don't sleep properly, but you get into a zone of tiredness, which is. It's not bad. It's just tired. You're just there, but you're always tired. You're always at this level. Now, since then, I've come out of that and come back to like normal levels of sleep and then self-induced periods of tiredness, like, going out and partying with the boys or having too many beers and you're tired for a couple of days. I actually think that the kid tiredness is better. You just kind of get locked in at this sandy, grainy, I'm always tired level, but you just deal with it because it's sort of constant. Yeah. It's actually easier to deal with than the, hey, I'm really good. I've done training for 3 days this week. Oh, then I got on the booze and now I've had a quiet Saturday. Yeah.
How bad is the booze now when you get this age? Like, we have had 2 or 3 days of it, actually, funnily enough. But it's just, my old man always just say, mate, it's going to get harder as you get older. And I don't even want to, but you said before, like, you said something about someone being young at 40. Remember being young and someone's 40? Like, whatever, old man.
Yeah.
But now that recovery period, I mean, I'm not telling anyone anything new, but it never ceases to amaze me. We don't hit the booze as much as we used to anymore, obviously, but when you do, you have a bit of a binge.
Yeah.
And, mate, you're dusty for about a week. But you're dusty and you feel like shit, and all you want to do is eat Munchos and burgerings. But what you're saying is that, you're kid tired. At least you don't have that nausea. No. And you just want to lie down and Netflix.
Hey, that being old at 40, we went out, we got some good friends of ours found some tickets for us that went to the Kings of Leon the other night in town. Hey, it was good, it was great, but I have never seen so many geriatrics out in my entire life. Like, we were out there, I was going, what is going on? We went to, like down at Britomart, we parked down there, and so we went to the pub on the corner down there. It's just heaving, but it's heaving with everyone who's like 40, 50, 60. So we thought, this is a bit weird. We went down to Sneaky Tiger or Cheeky Tiger, I don't know what it's called, some tiger bar down closer to the venue. And we walk in there, it's older. Like, all these people are 60 years old. Yeah, it was insane. And, people I'm with, they're like, dude, you're like that. You look just like them. I was like, no way, I do not look like these people. These people are old. They're everywhere. Who let them out? It was insane, man. Everyone who was there was older than the band. like way older than the
That's
band.
weird, eh?
Yeah.
But I'm assuming, I suppose the Kings of Leon are our demographic, really, aren't they? I suppose
Well,
the young'uns wouldn't.
Oh, no, yeah.
Who knows?
But it was surprising.
You feel old, eh?
Yeah.
Some functions you go, oh, jeez.
Because if we went to see Metallica, it'd be like, I expect there'd be a whole heap of old guys like us around there, but we would be the same age as the band.
Yeah.
You know, or you go and see the Stones even, or the band's older than us. But this was like, why are all these old people watching these guys?
Yeah, mate. It's the way you look at it. We've got a group of us do all this our adventure bike riding together, and we all just talk on the same level, and then one of them, Ben, he's got, mate, I got the 40th coming up. I was like, sorry, mate. And I don't want to insult him because it makes me, I'm 7 years older than him. Take your 40th. And he's like, oh, Jesus. It's not my business partner, mate. He's, what is he, 33? And I'm like, Jesus. That's when it makes you feel old, mate. You're like, God, I'm starting to get an extra plan of how you want to buy me out. I'll be retired by the time I'm going to be 60 and you're not going to be 45.
Yeah.
No, man, you just got to try and make time for stuff. That's what we're trying to do. But it's hard. Like sometimes you say, like Rachel and I say, let's just take that weekend, book it out, bub, and let's just go on the boat or do something. But then you get invites. You go, no invites. You know, like we've got to have our own time. Yeah. And then you just forget because life gets so hectic, and then you don't get to see good friends all the time. And you know, most of our friends got kids, so they're busy as. So when they do say, hey, look, we've got a Saturday. Do you want to do it? You're just like, yeah. You just got to make that time. So the balancing act's so hard.
How's your boat going? I saw Rach posted something the other day. It just looked gorgeous.
We love it. We've got to get more time to get out. We love it though. I think it'll come into its own over Christmas. We want to do a couple of weeks on it or a week over Christmas. I think that's where it'll sort of definitive know we've done the right thing. We know we've done the right thing. We just want to get out and use it.
What type of what's it called? What class or type of?
It's an Elan E4. So it's a European boat made in Slovenia. It's technology from I think Elan skis. I think that's what started. It's a vacuum composite construction or something like that. Anyway, it's not originally what we looked at because a few factors. One of the price almost freaked me out, but when you get inside something that's only a couple of years old compared to a good Kiwi yacht, that's what we were looking at, right? Lovely boats, beautiful boats at the start. And then a mate of ours who they live up in, they go to Fiji for 5 months every year. They live on their boat, surf, and then they come home. So they're on their way back soon. So mad sailors. And then he started coming around and going, mate, I know what you're looking at, love it, but why don't you look for something modern and new, spend a few bucks and get something that's just a bit more performance. And he said, you won't regret it, mate. Like, love the old boats, always have, but
like an old house, a lot of maintenance, a lot of extra time to keep it running.
And then we just looked at this thing and went, you're right, mate. You walk in it and, it's a lovely boat. And it's two of us, so it's plenty of room and goes anywhere, mate. You know, we can take it most places. It's decked out and it's cool. And we just want to spend time on it. We just went out last weekend and that's the thing. We need to, you need to make time to say, and Rachel's right. She said, we could go and just take out for dinner one night after work in summer on it and just potter out. You just go out to the marina. You don't have to put up sails. You just go potter out and have a cuppa and maybe dinner. Just get use out of it because it does sit there. It becomes an asset that just sits there and doesn't get used. I always used to go past the marina and go, look at those people. Bloody boats are run down. They don't use them, and we went for a stage of 3 months. We didn't go out in it, but it's weather and then you go away and then I had to put it up on the Hague, get the anti-foul done. I thought I'll do it before the rush. And then, of course, you get the motor serviced and they find something wrong and then you get down a expensive rabbit hole. And this is the other thing. It's like you can justify that cost if you're using it, but if you're not and it's sitting there, and they call it the West Haven tax, the West Haven Marina, and anything down there is expensive on a boat. And that's the one thing I didn't factor in for my psychology is forking out bills. But you do a 3-day weekend like last weekend out to Waiheke, amazing, Yeah. It's so cool. We just sat in only rower. The Coastal Classic was on, so, you're probably talking 150 yachts in that. I think it was one of their biggest fields. Say 100, might be exaggerating, but 50 of those any time will be out in the same bay. So there was a bit of space because you're just so busy when it's over there. I mean, it's still chocker. Yeah. But that was without that fleet. So it's a taste of what it's going to be like over Christmas. It'll be madness. But then we went there Saturday, Sunday. We met our friends up at Vino, and there's about 6 of us. And, we just walked up, motored in and went up, met them up there, then went back. So, it's
pretty cool.
It's just cool, mate. It's what we're trying to do. And just that's our little out, that and riding a motorbike and just trying to, create that time and stuff me and Rach can do together too,
How far can you travel? Like how, with the size of boat it is, like how far would you comfortably travel, or would you go to Hawaii in it?
Yeah, go to Fiji in it. I'd love to get it up there with Mike, who Mike and Sasha have got the big cat. I'd love to, because they go to Fiji. They've been doing it well before COVID, and then obviously 2 years off. This is the first trip they've done, so we were lucky enough to go spend a couple of days with them when we were up there on holiday. So we caught the ferry out to Muscat Cove, where they park up, and hopped on, and then we just motored over to Namutu Island, because they're just mad surfers, right? He's a great surfer. And so we motored over there, which is pretty much, some cloud breaks, some of the best breaks in the world, and he can surf. But, and then there wasn't much that day, but just beautiful, man. It's the lifestyle, like, so they probably do. There's a weather window for them to go up, and so I think they get about 3 or 4 months up there, and they're heading back. I mean, they've got a 48-foot cat, big boy, like big, but a performance cat. So it's not just the big luxury yacht ones that weigh a ton that sort of wallow along. Yeah. This thing hauls.
How long would it take you to get from here to Fiji?
Them takes them 5 to 6 days.
Oh wow!
And our monohull, I think it's about 5, 6 normally, for maybe 7 this last one. Just depends what that wind's doing and if it's against you. We're probably we'd be 8 or 9 or 8 days, I suppose.
And that'd all be sail power. It'd have to be, because you're gonna run out of fuel if you try and push it. I
mean, you get it. You got to. I mean, you could motor to Barrier and back on ours probably. It's a 30 horsepower diesel. It's a modern motor, but
you just use that for like docking and for putting around bays or something like that.
They use their motor quite a lot over there, because it's different winds, and when they just want to smoke out to because there's a lot of, you got to sort of dodge the reefs and dodge the rocks around there and know what you're doing, and that's another thing. The experience level up at a place like that, I couldn't even comprehend how long you got to do your time up there and know where you can go and can't go, and but it'd be quite cool to get even the two of them, and we'd go and park it up there. I'd look at parking at the marina, maybe, because there's berths there that you can get for a set period of time. It's a great marina there. We wouldn't live on it. We've got to keep working, right? So they can, Sash can work remotely when she needs to, so that's great. And Mike's just an awesome dude, just really can put his hand to anything, mate. So, but he needs to, you also got to work when you come back to fund going back up there. But it'd be awesome. I always thought, just to put it up there and then just do 2 or 3 trips just to justify it, a week at a time, and just go and do that. Use your holidays that way instead of just doing a block of 2 weeks at a resort like we do. Just maybe do 3 or 4 trips up there over a season, over a month. I mean, can you get that time off work? No, probably not. But it's you got to have the ideas, man. It's like we were talking about before. You got to have some kind of passion.
Yeah. No, I don't think
we'd love to do that.
It's a whole other world for me. I've never spent any time on yachts, living on them or working on them. I never did any time as a kid on them or anything like that. So it's the whole thing's intriguing to me.
Yeah, it's cool. It's but even just out in the Gulf, it's just an untouched paradise out there, mate. So we take it for granted. I was going to nip over to, sure, Waiheke or whatever, but there's 30 bays on Waiheke you can park in. Some of them you could be the only ones in. There's a place called Garden Cove on the side. It's a pretty popular place, but there's a little entrance, if you like, in a gap. You can get a semi decent sized boat, as long as you don't draw too much, and then you can park in there. But you can only anchor up 2 or 3 big boats because it's just not big enough. But it's just paradise, man. It's like golden sand.
Wow.
You can't really access it because it's sort of private land. So once you're in there, you're in there. You're not walking to a cafe or anything. But or then you go to Barrier, or then we did a We met them up there at Tiritiri. You been to Tiritiri Matangi? That island just up off Sandspit. It's like a sanctuary for wildlife and birds and things. It's an amazing place. I mean, we walked around it. I think school trips go there all the time, and it's an education centre, and it's a pest and rodent free and things like that. But we pulled into the bay, and I was like, "You sure, mate?" He goes, "Mate, just get up there. We'll see you up there." No, they're gone, mate. And okay. So we stomped up. It was one of our first trips on it actually, and we just parked in this bay. It's paradise, mate. It's Tiritiri Matangi. You can see it, like it's a 6-hour sail, or no wind and motor or whatever. It just cruise up, but it's a beautiful bay and island, and on a certain wind, it's perfect.
Yeah,
it's got so much choice. So for us, it's learning the places. Like we like to go to the same place because we know it, but we've got to venture out, and hopefully that's what Christmas is about. We can start learning some more places and taking some more risks, and but small steps. Rachel's done a sailing course. I mean, I've sailed, and I suppose I'm competent, and I'm happy to do what I do, but I'm a terrible teacher. I don't have the patience, mate, and I just can't do it. And I'd rather admit it than try and do it. And she just does amazing, but she did a course by Penny Whiting. She's a famous New Zealand sailor, and her son runs a course now. So Rachel and another lady jumped on the boat, and it's a weekend course, right? They're off. Yeah. Off they go, and
that itself would be fun. Just doing that,
loved
would be
it,
fun.
Mate. Yeah. It's always off-putting when the guy's name's Tiny. You always start going, "Hey, what's going on here, mate?" We'll see this rooster. But they had a great time. Taught them how to drive a dinghy, and you just got to keep it up. But then we go 3 months without doing things. And it's so much to it. There's so many different terms, and You know, and when you do it enough, it's second nature. But when you just hop on a boat and someone tells you to pull in a jib sheet or, mate, grab the halyard, well, you know, I might as well just do blah, blah, blah. It's gibberish, mate. She doesn't know what it is, but does incredibly well and loves it, mate. She's great. She's awesome on the boat. So, yeah, it's working out good, man. But as I say, we just need to use it. Was that or a camper van? So we ended up going the boat option in the end.
Yeah, well, even it's a good idea, particularly if you're into, I suppose, fishing and diving as well. It's way better to be out of the water, get away from all the crowds and things.
Yeah, so good. It's just planning. It's planning and logistics and just getting your head around everything. But I think we overcomplicate things as in human nature when really there's no reason we can't just load up a bag and go out on Friday night and come back on Saturday night or Sunday. You put hurdles in the way. I've got to do that. You got to do this. Really? What for, mate? You know,
it's just one of those things. You just got to go and do it.
Yeah, do it. Just use it and have fun. And
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about the hot cold training. You know, you look at a sauna or something, get an ice bath. He's just got himself an ice bath. He's just got an old chest freezer, which he's just going to take the lid off and then put water in and turn it on an hour before he wants to get in. And he's got his ice bath set out. Just a great idea. And I haven't got one. I'm toying with putting one in the backyard. But you know, sometimes I go in the shower and just have a cold shower, just like full noise, full cold. Yeah. But I realise that I've got to just do it. If I think, am I going to do it? I'm not going to do it. I've already missed the opportunity. Yeah. It's just you just got to get your kid off, walk in, do it, and then you've got the cold shower. Yeah, but it's the fun experience, the trying not to scream.
Yeah. we made a thing that I don't know where we were somewhere in an island or something. We said on holiday, we said, right, let's do this last 2 minutes of shower. And we did it over there. I think we were in Rara or something. We thought, this is amazing because you walk out and it's lukewarm and everything. Yeah. We'll do this when we get home. You do it once, heater's blaring on you and the underfloor heating's on. It's not quite the same principle. I love the concept and looking at the training and the benefits and of the sauna to ice bath, like 3 times for 5 minutes, whatever. It's pretty cool when you start reading up about it. I had no idea that there's so many
benefits.
Let's hope it's benefits. It's not just it's not a CrossFit phase or something like that. But it's not really a phase anymore. It's big time. But you just think it's not something that's coming and going, but when you start looking into it, it's huge benefit.
Yeah, have you read any of or watched any of Andrew Huberman?
No.
Oh, Andrew Huberman, he's a really clever guy. Yeah, I want to say neuroscientist and ophthalmologist, I think, is his field of study. So he's all about the brain, but he seems to have moved right into fitness, whole body fitness. And so he has a podcast. He interviews people who are into the different areas like endurance and speed and muscle growth and that sort of thing. And he does some stuff around the hot cold. I think he does 20 minutes in the sauna, 20-minute session. He's worked his way up to like a 20-minute session, and then I guess it's 5 minutes in the ice bath, then 20 minutes, and then 5 and 20 and 5. So
20 minutes in the sauna. How are you with saunas? 20 minutes in the sauna is a long time.
20 minutes in the sauna is like 5 minutes in an ice bath. Jesus.
We had one recently, Drake. We were staying somewhere. Which took me for my birthday. I had a sauna. Let's go and have a sauna. I'll sit in this and have a chat for 30 minutes, mate. I'm losing my shit after 5 minutes. I feel like, mate, I'm like a rotisserie chicken. I feel like someone should pick me up and spin me. I'm just sweating away, and it's not comfortable. And let's do it and then I don't know. Then I put the water on. Rachel says, put some water on. I said, yeah, cool. I'm putting on. No steam's coming out, so I'm just chucking buckets on. The next one, I hardly breathe, mate. It's just. But we thought, let's get one for home. Those little portable ones, but I just don't know if we'd use it.
Yeah, it's like anything. You've got to build yourself up to it, and I think part of it is your body going, no, we don't like this. Tough. You got to sit it out. You got to stick it out. Just stick it out, and do that for a while. You're able to do it. Like I've heard about people doing in the ice baths, getting to the point where they can do maths in their head. Like they can just get in the ice bath and go, okay, 37 times 3 would be blah 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 blah.
Work, yeah.
Whereas me, my brain's just going.
Just the psych up to get in the bath, like the cold.
Sure, I saw Joe Rogan. He'd set his camera up at the front of his ice bath. And he gets in and he's talking about it. And he gets into his ice bath. As he gets in, he has to lift up like this sheet of ice. Like it's serious. It's an ice cold bath. But he gets in and talks to the camera. And, I've worked on this now. I can deal with this. I've seen this before.
He's a beast, eh? Like, that guy must be on the roids. He's stacked. He's a big unit.
I don't imagine he would be. I think he's just... Like he's
dedicated.
I just think he's dedicated. I think he's got the opportunity, and I think he talks. I think the way I found Huberman was actually through Joe Rogan. I think that he's just like right on to what can I do? How can I eat well? How can I sleep well? How can I train well to maximise that stuff? Because he's like 54.
But he's in great shape, man. I saw something. It might have been something that you were just talking about the other day, and I thought, Is that Joe Rogan? He's a beast.
Yeah, well, he trains pretty hard. Yeah. Apparently at his studio, you'll turn up to this building, you come in, and he's just got like a full gym kitted out there. And then on the other side of that is the studio that you go into. So it's pretty easy for him to train. He's got $200 million.
It's not a problem, mate. How long has he been podcasting?
10 years, 12 years or something.
So he's right.
He's done, I think he's up to nearly 2,000 episodes. Like,
serious commitment, eh?
Yeah. But that's the thing. A couple of times I thought I should go back and watch his first episode and just see what it was like.
See what it was.
Because I've never seen it, but I have along the way seen some bits and pieces where he looks like back when he had hair and looks like he was just doing it in the study of his house. He just started somewhere and then he's moved on.
Yeah, he's a phenomenon, man. I wonder if how long will you keep that mass bear? You say you got 200 million, but it still must be a massive commitment just to that day in, day out. Going to run out of guests soon, surely.
Well, I think he's in the lucky position now. People are coming to him. People will be constantly coming to say, Joe, can I go on your show? Can I go on your show? He gets 11 million, average of 11 million views per episode. And primetime TV shows like for MSNBC and Fox, I think they struggle to get 1.5 million views. Jesus. He's doing 2 or 3 episodes a week. He's getting maybe 33 million views a week. So that's why Spotify have said, have $200 million and come to us exclusively. You could just imagine if you were to go on his show, if you was to pick some random person and say, come on my show, that person's phone and email would just be running red hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
For any reason.
Yeah. Joe Rogan.
I'm really interested to see what's going to happen now with Twitter now that Elon's bought it. And if people come back, like Jordan Peterson, if his account will get unlocked, if Trump will get to come back, I think it's great. I can bring everyone back.
Why not now? Like this, they can't. It's not influencing the election or anything for Trump. Bring him back. Get the humour back into it.
Yeah,
give people some entertainment. I mean, he's bought it to make money, right? He needs people on there, right?
He wants to take it beyond just Twitter, this communication platform. He wants to try and turn it out into more of a, I can't think of the name of it, there's a Chinese app. It's not TikTok, but it's another one. More of the everything app. Like he wants to turn it into the app which you would use for whatever you might do online. It becomes like the Instagram, it becomes the YouTube, it becomes the app that you can pay for stuff with. He's figured, okay, I've got this thing that's really popular. If I take it and we add to it, we can make it into something else. So
his fingers in a lot of pies when you think about it. He grabs it, he gets into it, and he must just either put a hugely successful management team. Like he's got obviously the Tesla. He's got what's SpaceX?
SpaceX.
He's flying rockets to the moon, mate. Like
Well, he had,
but then he doesn't talk about it. He just moves on to the next one, eh?
Yeah. So he had PayPal. Him and his brother built.
That's right.
PayPal, I think.
That's what I read.
Sold that, made his money, got that, went into Tesla. Then Tesla, SpaceX, and the Boring Company. So, I mean, I think he does a great job.
Doing something right, mate.
Yeah. Pretty limited pool of people who could buy Twitter, send a rocket up to space that day, and have got probably one of the fastest growing car commodities out there.
Yeah, that's not diminishing, is it?
Have you ever had a go in a Tesla?
No, I'm hanging. And Benny, who was just talking about before, he's waiting for his to arrive, and I'm ripping him about it because that's just fun, right? Because it's a naive, short-term way of thinking. But I got to get my head around. I was speaking to someone last night at a function, and he's got the new. They've just bought he sold his X5, and he's bought the new BMW equivalent, the Space X5. He gets 600 kilometres out of a charge.
600 Ks.
That's pretty decent. That's
what
I said.
In a pretty heavy car.
Yeah, and because I'm about to rip him and do the old classic. How you get to Wellington, you're charging in Taupo McDonald's with everyone else, how long, and he's saying, well, I get 600 out of a tank. Shit, that's
not
different.
Too bad.
I think you've got to pay for that privilege. It's, and that
the long range, But
Jesus, that's done to get, that's not a Nissan Leaf.
No.
That's not 122 k's around town in a Nissan.
But that probably does mean if you get yourself to Wellington, you've got to do a full overnight charge, I guess, to get you back home again.
Well, that's what he says. That's the surprising part. Now, the charges have been put in where they live in an apartment, and it must be something to do with the speed and the fast shows, but they plug it in overnight and they say, we might get 30%. So, okay. So there must be a specific grunt charge I'm assuming some kind of different feed. I mean, it must be a 3-phase feed
Yeah.
to what they're doing to charge a car, or maybe it's just the plug-in one. But 30% seems a bit odd. I would have thought after overnight you'd
Be full.
Wouldn't you want the car to charge?
You would think so. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see Ben's when he gets it. I like what he's buying. He's buying that 3, but it's not everyone likes it. But it's quite a bubble 3. It's not the SUV, but it's in between.
Right. Yes.
Quite a cool looking car.
Yeah.
He's possessed with it. He can't wait to get it. It's been delayed, but he's into it. So yeah, I generally, I'm looking forward to going in it. I've never been in one. I haven't really had the desire to go in one. I see the benefit, and I need noise, mate.
I'd like to go in them just to see what they're like, just to see what cool features they've got in the car as well. You know, beyond the fact that it can drive itself. Is it in New Zealand though? Are you allowed to let it go on autopilot?
I don't think so. I don't know if would that be activated. I don't even know if that's a thing, but surely there must be some kind of restriction. I
don't know. Which would be a bit of a bummer, because that'd be a fun thing to be able to go, like, let's drive down the motorway and just let it do its own thing. Yeah.
It's on a ridiculously simple level of that, and because I'm a simple bogan builder, but how's adaptive cruise control I've just discovered? I've never used it. I just sit in traffic now and just steer. This thing, like, it's just the car. I'm probably sound like a kid from the 80s who doesn't know anything about technology, mate. He's still using a one-touch Alcatel, but in traffic, it's the best thing I use. If we go out of town now and go see my folks, or go to the Coromandel and we leave on a Friday night and it's carnage, I just put this thing on. You set it to 50k or whatever. You sit in traffic for 45 minutes getting out of town, but you don't have to do anything. The stress off you.
I'm the same as you. I'm going to give it a go, because we just picked up the family vehicle, the 7-seater.
Nice.
And it's got the whole cruise control thing on it. Yeah, I've never used it before. I was looking at it going, what is that up and down? How does that work?
I don't trust it. And then I never have, and now I do.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's going to change your life. A couple of old dudes lurking about cruise control. I'm telling you. It slows you and speed. And I've always got the whole shit. My foot's always teetering.
Yeah.
Going, is that going to stop? Yeah. We just get the whole way out of town and then use it when we're driving. You get there rattling fresh. I don't even know how else to describe it. The stress level in the old right foot's you're not having to think about it, and we're just chin wagging. It's not taking your attention. It's just everything feels cruisier. And people would listen to this,
hence it's cruise control.
Yeah. People listen to this are going to get hold of you and go, mate, that guy's an absolute bonehead.
Fuck, how old are those guys? Don't they know anything?
Yeah, it's not you guys. Cruise control's been around for a little while.
Someone tell them about electricity.
Yeah. It's on motorbikes now. Ducati have got it on their new motorbike. Yeah, that would be cool. It's not on mine, but I think the new Ducatis have got it, and I think Beamer will follow, maybe, who knows. It'll be expensive, but yeah, for the touring bikes. The old, it's boys just put them on. That'd be awesome.
Off you go.
That'd be awesome.
I saw a bike a couple of years ago which had, it was stable. It would just roll. It wouldn't fall over. So I think it was BMW were making it. I don't know how they were doing it. If they must have had, I'm guessing maybe like the suspension, they could pump the suspension on either side slightly, and it would have been constantly twitching, I imagine, to stop it from falling over. But you could, you pull up on the bike at the lights and keep your feet on the pegs, and just the bike would sit there.
Yeah, it's getting a bit crazy, man. But bikes going through the roof. The cost of them now is horrendous. But it's supply and demand. Now people are ordering them. I was talking to one of the Harley mechanics next door to the office the other day, and I said, mate, you guys must be chocker. He said, we can't get them in. Containers are getting turned around. He said, people are just moving on. They've waited so long, and I think it's the same for everyone. It's just we're so far out of the shipping link, or maybe the distribution centres, and all the distribution centres are going off seas. And
it's that extra hop, I think, from Australia to New Zealand is expensive. It's like, fuck, do we have to send stuff to New Zealand? So
yeah, we're starting to bring a bit more stuff in some of the shipments we're doing now, and the containers are starting to become a bit more feasible cost-wise. They were getting through the roof to bring a container of stuff across. Yeah. But then I think it slowly seems to, if you talk to our suppliers, it seems to be getting better. I mean, the jib thing was the big thing, and then all the big boys started bringing their own containers of jibbing. So when they started doing that, it must have been feasible some way or another. Yeah. I mean, the cost of jibs doubled, let alone having to ship it from overseas. But obviously the product they were bringing in was cheap enough to be offset by shipping containers. I'm talking containers of the stuff, man. Yeah. They just had enough of the local supplier, and they're just like, we're not going to Winston Wallboards, buggy your stuff in our business. We need board. Everyone did, mate. Horrendous.
Yeah, I'm not in the industry at all, but I was down at the local hardware suppliers thing, probably a year ago now, and a bloke walked in and he went, shit. He said, have you got jib? And they had a bit there, and he's like, how much have you got? And they said, this blah 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 blah. I'll take all of it. It's just like that. I'll take all of it. Yeah. Well, because I think he was a bit of a conversation. Him and his son were doing some work on someone's place, and they just needed to get it finished. And they got to a stage where they couldn't proceed because they couldn't get walls up to get ticked off by the council or whatever it might be to get through the next stage. They just needed it. So
the impact is. I mean, you look at the Commerce Commission, nailing the the supermarkets. It's been going on publicised, and which is good or bad, right or wrong. Who knows? We won't know. But and then you get something like this where it's an absolute monopoly, and they're just screwed businesses.
Is it continuing, or has it eased? Or?
Well, if you listen, people think it's we've got a lot of friends say, mate, you'd be glad to get over that. Well, it's still not good, mate. It's still not what it was, and I don't know when it will be. And look, that's supply and demand. You can't knock them for that. They've got to get back. They've got to try and keep up. But I think what I can tell is that some of the big construction guys who have bought in their own or shipped their own board, and there's a few people doing it, whether it's a stopgap or they might just do it permanently now. Like, it meets the quality standard, so why not?
Yeah.
And maybe that's a bit of a finger up to say, okay, we've gone out. But I think what that's done is created probably a bit of supply. Because when the orders, we've placed orders 6 months ago, mate. I'm still waiting for them. Jobs that we know is coming up 4 or 5 months ago. And I think what's happened now, a couple of those have come through earlier than you think, and I think that's just purely it's freed up because they've got their board and then they've just rung and said, cancel that order, mate. They would have been hedging their bets.
Yeah.
Because you nailed it before, mate. It's a pretty important. We did a lawyer's office not long ago, and we literally finished everything. The floor was in, the glass was in, the sliding doors, new kitchen. It was a mint setup. You just walk through the walls, mate. Just got steel stud there, and I can't finish your office. And subsequently, that means the building owner, who we do all their work for them, they can't start charging rent. But then the lawyers can't work from there. I mean, everyone's understanding because it was so well publicised. But the problem now is the flip side is everyone's saying it's, and disclaimer, it's better, but everyone's saying it's good. So now clients, customers, building owners saying,
are expecting it to be good,
mate?
Yeah.
Well, I can't fucking get it, mate. Don't listen to that rubbish, Like.
So Jib, that happened with Jib because the local supplier, they closed down for a period of time, got behind. But have they not had the time to catch up, or have they not opened up to the same extent?
I don't know why they can't catch up. I don't know enough about it. So I don't mean that in a negative way to Jib, because I wouldn't know how piece of thing about a gypsum plant. I know it's a pretty intense procedure, but I don't know how they haven't caught up. I mean, they closed down. My understanding, and this could be so wrong, gossipy little industry of construction, but my understanding is it's, obviously they were told to shut down over COVID, which is, I mean, if anything's a critical industry, it's building and farming at the moment. It was then. And you close that down, and I think that was closed down for 6 weeks, and they realised, shit, now this is not good. Yeah. And my understanding is to start one, you get a plant back up and running. There's a bit to it. It's not just Jeff and Steve don't just turn up in the beanies and the coffee one day and turn on the switches and off we go. Yeah. Not just personnel, but just cleaning furnaces and things like that. I understand. Again, I've never been too privy to how it's completely done inside one of those, but it'd be a pretty technical organisation. So, and then I think initially that's what everyone was thinking. What you said before is that they're behind because they stopped manufacturing and they've got to catch up. Now they were pumping it out. I mean, it was the market's been cranking the last couple of years. It's just cranking. And that's pretty much one factory that supplies New Zealand, right? So you've got a lot happening in the South Island. You've got a lot happening out of Auckland, much as most Aucklanders don't think there's anything happening. There is a country actually doing things. And they're building a big new plant down in Waihi. And it's been built for a while. And they sort of got out that they'll be cranking by October. Well, it's nowhere near it, my understanding. It's been cleared. There's a lot of water under the bridge. So
they can't get Jib.
Yeah, they can't get it to finish, mate. Well, that's the thing. I mean, as much as I said, we're treating everyone fairly and what have you, like little guys like us, we're just getting smashed, mate. No one's giving us the time of day. I mean, the big boys are getting looked after as much as they can and understand. And miraculously, Fletcher Homes were still their houses were still cranking on. I mean, what are the odds? How did that happen? So, man, it's a pretty tough patch for people, but it was kind of like all products, man. Architects were having to specify different things. It was basically what you could get hold of.
That's what I was going to say. Has it just been Jib that's been impacted like that? It's other products as well. Yeah,
but we not so much. I mean, panels and timber and Laminex, we've got factories here and stuff. That's been okay. It's items to do with shipping. It's been the big one, just getting stuff here and being able to rely on it. Probably if you're ordering stuff doing a big commercial scale of building buildings, you can order stuff far enough out. We don't get that luxury, right? We price things and then within 2 weeks we start. Yeah. So you've got to order and you've got to allow that in your programming for long lead time items. And often something might be 8 weeks, so you might start in 2 and then you've got a 12-week program, so you just factor in that at week 7 on the program, your gear's coming. But you couldn't rely on it in the end, Yeah. So we had massive carpet for a whole lot of projects we do for a negotiated client, and just carpet coming in, and they had 3 going at once, and none of it was going to turn out. So we had to go to an alternative supplier. Yeah. I've got 13 pallets of carpet in my yard at the moment, and I'm storing it for them. And so if you want a carpet, mate, I can do you here. I've got a lot of it. But we're going to use it, but it's now... But
it's like there's a storage cost now, which is, you weren't expecting.
One half of my factory, I'm supplying the carpet, I'm storing the carpet for them, which is great. We do their work for them until it's ours, until we muck it up, and hopefully they'll keep using us. Yeah. So it's not a problem, but I mean, that's right, it's storage. But then that's just another thing the guys can't bless my truckies and my labourers, they don't like throwing things out. And we're a wasteful society, but I remember when we moved out of our first office up to the new one, we went out, there was quite a big storage area, quite a big factory, and there's a whole lot of stuff down the back, which you just never really went there. It was like the second drawer down the kitchen. You just don't go there. So I was like, I'm just too scared to go out there. And it wasn't until we actually started to move and go, mate, we've got a week, we've got to get out of here. And I started pulling covers off things, and I kid you not, mate, there was 5 beautiful kitchens, like full kitchens in the back. So I'll give old mate a ring. I said, oh, mate, there's 5 kitchens here. He goes, yeah, some might want those. You think so, mate? I know it's wasteful, bud, but we've been paid to get rid of those at that demo stage. Now I'm doubling up, mate. I said, where am I going to put those? Because it takes 2 guys to break them down, put them in a bin, and you can't give them away, mate. There's always 2 weeks later, someone goes, God, I need a kitchen. Cool, mate. I'll tell you what I can do. But it was always like Steptoe and Son for a while there. It was ridiculous. So we've gone smaller on purpose. Bigger office for everyone, smaller storage, mate, because we just turned into hoarders. Yeah. It's just crazy. And then we've actually bought a container just to store gibbet. Now we're not hoarding it, it's all going to projects. But you just don't know when it's turning up now. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, cool, we've just got a 40, put it in that. We just got to store it so we can get it out for each job, because our job's got a program start, but we ordered a long time ago. So yeah, I suppose in some ways it's freeing up, and the solution and the problem's getting better, but sometimes that's just about. I've got 17 tonne to go to one site soon, and that I don't need it till barely December, maybe January. So I ordered in advance based on the lead times. I got a call from the supplier the other day. It's Elephant Board. They're great. Tina gives me a ring and says, we're good to go. It's arrived.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, 3 months early, 17 tonnes of board.
Yeah. How many pallets? Okay, no. So, and you got to do a bit of negotiation. They're going to store it for me and stuff. It's good, and that's a bit of loyalty in the industry and good relation. And
that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's a whole system that was running, and you turn off one little part of it. It's not just that thing you got to turn back on. Now it's like, well, this is backed up, and they've shut down, and they've slowed down, or they're putting their costs up because they're trying to store that gear. Oh, now this one's turned off because you can't supply them. The whole thing's fallen apart.
It is, and if they said that we, generously, 17 tonnes a lot of board. So I won't be the only customer that can't take it. We don't all have big yards or big buildings to go to. Now, we might be able to get it in early once it's a brand new building. So once that's closed, we can probably chuck it in. But then, like, we're not on site then, so I've got to keep an eye on it. And people are still taking board. And if they had said, well, we can't, they're either going to say, okay, sorry, mate, we'll put another order in for you. Yeah. But they're decent. They're awesome people. We've always used them. We use them probably more than Jib. And thank God, a bit of relationship and loyalty, they can store it. Otherwise, it would be goose, mate. They'd just say, well, I'm going to dump it on your doorstep. Or
take it.
Joe Smith's going to use it on some houses. You tell me what you want to do. I don't know when your new order's coming in. So, yeah, you're right. It's just a litany of, it's just a trail of destruction, the way the industry is at the moment. I hope there's no casualties next year. You don't want anyone to fail. But some people must be, if you don't have a little bit of cash flow at the moment, it's a tough game to be in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there must have been a whole heap of people who stopped during the lockdowns, who just gave up the business and couldn't go on. And,
yeah, there are.
Same, it's happened everywhere. I even see now with bloody cars. Because we're talking about Teslas before. I had a look at just playing around, daydreaming on the website, because you can build the Tesla that you want, choose the interior. I like taking the base model and just adding in all the features and just see what the price is. You get it $68,000 or $130,000. You've got all the splash bits.
Surprise.
But doing that, and checking out a few different car websites, and a number of them had little disclaimers at the top. Due to microprocessor components and things like that, there will be delays in delivery. And someone I was talking to at work the other day was saying the car that they had ordered, or they've just ordered, they're estimating it's going to be 8 or 9 months before they can pick up their car.
You're going to have to really want that car, aren't you?
Yeah.
I don't think I could wait that long.
You're a year behind.
Yeah. No, I don't fucking. What about all the people that had some nice Porsches and stuff, and that boat that caught fire that was taking them all out? You see that one?
No.
Oh, mate, it was a lot in there. It was a broad spectrum of pretty nice wagons by the sound of it. And old mate, somehow the ship caught fire and totaled about 70%. Well, they were all written off as smoke in that thing, but the whole shipment's gone. So not only people were waiting, it was the middle of COVID, and that was right in the middle of that processor issue. So not only people probably waited a year for their...
It's here, it's on the boat, I'm tracking it on my phone. Hang on, what does the flame logo emoticon mean?
Does that mean they like my cars?
It's really hot car.
It was, it'd be devastating, mate. I don't know how, as I say, like, you'd have to be really, if it was a toy or something you're putting in your garage, but if you were ordering something that you want to use as a family wagon, a cool car or something, and someone says 8 or 9 months, I don't know if I could wait 8 or 9 months.
No, I think you'd go looking else, you'd be like, I can buy something second hand and just get something to go.
Yeah, but that chip thing's a big problem, mate. I think still is. I don't think it's getting any better. Motorbikes are suffering from that too, apparently.
Well, again, and it's some weird thing the other day between... the US saying they're going to stop supplying a particular type of chip to China because Chinese businesses are using those chips in AI, like to run AI. And they're saying, well, no, these chips are too powerful if you're running them for AI. We're not going to give them to you anymore because your AI will get too powerful. Weird dynamics now on, what might become a problem in the future. Oh, well, they're going to stop doing trade with us because we stopped those chips. Well, if you don't stop those chips, they're going to have AI which will come in and will take over and do something. It's like, which way do you go?
Yeah. Remember the biggest problem used to be when you have a BlackBerry, and you're going to have a phone with a touchscreen and no key. But what are we going to do for the keys? That used to be the biggest drama. Yeah. For me, what am I going to do with these little sausage hands? I can't do that. I need keys.
I saw someone the other day doing two thumb texting. Like I've never seen that before in real life. You see it on the TV, like it's always like people are two thumb texting, but they were really two thumb texting going really fast. I was like, I've always been just like a one thumb or one.
Yeah. But you can split the keyboard, eh? I do that by accident sometimes. I'm trying to swipe on something, and then maybe that's how you do it, because then the keyboard splits to half and half, and it's...
Oh, right.
I don't know, man. I just see these
those
people that do that shit.
See those flip phones? That's pretty cool technology.
Yeah,
the screens, the flip screens.
Cool. That looks cool. You're going to get a crease, surely you're going to get a crease.
Well, that's what I thought. But I think my father-in-law's got one, another mate who's got one, and... You look at it, it's like, that screen looks pretty good.
Yeah, loving it.
Bending in half all the time.
Serious bits of kit, now. Because you can't keep getting bigger this way. I mean, they're big now.
No.
The old Maxes and stuff.
That's
$2.5 for a phone.
This is a year or so ago. I was just walking through the mall and looking at at Spark or Vodafone. I think it was Spark. And the deal was, buy the new Samsung, whatever it was, for $2,100 and get a free 50-inch TV. We did a job for a big phone manufacturer fairly recently. Now, when your podcast goes viral, I won't say their name, but they were quibbling over some money, a variation for some security conduit for wiring, and someone in America, I think it's in Texas or something. He was on the Zoom calls, always 15 or 16 people. Really cool to work for. Disclaimer. But old mate piped up and said, that seems really expensive. And my project manager piped up and said, mate, have you seen the price of a fucking iPhone in New Zealand? You worry about that? And it's $2,500 for a phone here, mate. That's going to crap out in 2 years because of the battery, Yeah.
But we keep buying them. Keep getting sucked in.
It must be getting tough though for Apple, to keep selling the new model, because that improvement that you're going to get, it's got to be getting diminishing smaller and smaller, because they're already pretty good in what they can do. Like, what's it going to do now?
And what do we benefit from that? I don't know. We were out last night and Eddie had one. He loved it. He'll just get a new phone as soon as it comes out. And he got it, and it looks exactly like what I use, which is a couple of models behind. So, look, I'm sure there's benefits of eliminating people's faces in photos and the technology, but
a lot of those things like fringe benefits, which I don't think you really use.
Do we embrace it? I mean, do we benefit from it?
I can't. Well, they say that your mobile phone today's got more processing power than what NASA used to get them to the moon and back. But I'm not using it. I mean, I'm watching Twitter. I'm sending emails. I'm watching YouTube.
Yeah, I'm attaching a photo to a text and thinking I've cracked.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting Messenger. I can do I've got into emojis. I used to, if anyone of 40 years or older used to send me an emoji, I'd ring them and say, what the fuck is that? Some smiley winking fucking poo thing you can do. Now you can hold it up and you can that, and the little face does it, and I'm all into it. I'm sending it to everyone.
Well, there you go. There's some new technology I didn't know about.
It, mate. That's worth the $2.5K alone. Just the emojis. The emoji field it's unlimited emojis.
I saw a friend of mine today. She'd posted on her feed, and it was her in a giant, looked like homemade cardboard cutout of the poo emoji. Just her face and her arms sticking out.
So did she actually make a cardboard poo?
I don't know if she made
it. Actual cardboard?
Someone had made it. I think it looked like a cardboard poo. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I think she's going, what emoji am I?
Stop. I think, the texting and the email, it's awesome, but I always say to the guys in the office, pick up the phone, mate. Emotions on a email or a text, and
it's easy to misinterpret.
Yeah, it is. And there's certain situations I think you got to read it and take away business, and it can be personal. I think you said it, classic, what I'd see if they get it. And they'd look at the other end going, oh, fuck are you, mate?
Yeah. Or someone replies to something and they're like, great. It's because they're busy. They're like, that's great.
Yeah.
But I've only got time to say great. And you're like, oh, fuck, is that all?
Mate? Oh,
yeah.
have I pissed you off?
Yeah. Is something wrong? No, man. Wait, something wrong? No, fuck. Now we're having to fight over
Just
nothing.
great, mate.
Just pick up the phone.
But
We're all good.
no, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
It goes the other way, or some fuckwit will send you a thumbs down emoji, an apple, a Pierre, a church, and you're supposed to know what that means. And I just hate it. I go, you're a dick, mate. But then it starts playing on me, and I go, what the fuck does it? It's like a personalised plate, eh? You're like,
yeah, trying to figure that out.
All right. Are you calling me a cock? I can't read it. Personalised plates, yeah, they're the worst ones too.
Oh, the best suggestion I heard, a mate of mine, his boss got too much money, and he was buying a new Ferrari, like a couple of years ago. It's the F45 or something like. That's what you do. Top flight Ferrari he's buying, and he's going, look, I'm thinking about getting a personalised plate. What should I get? And my mate was like, why don't you get CMP SN8? Like compensate, and I was like, "That's brilliant."
See, that's good.
Yeah.
I think more people should do that and take the piss out of themselves because, let's be honest,
yeah,
I only bought a big truck because I'm compensating for my tiny downstairs. So you got to be honest about it. If you know it, just do it, mate. You know.
That's it. Be honest about it. Don't you got nothing to hide? Then makes it easier.
It does, mate. It takes away the speculation, eh?
Yeah,
it takes away ever looking at your crutch.
True.
Nah, it's not right. Whatever, mate. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Jesus. Do you want to no coffee? Do you want a beer?
Do you want a beer? I bought
have
beers.
A break. A beer.
I don't have to have a break. We can have a beer. I can crack you a lager.
I'll have a beer then.
Okay,
Yeah,
have a beer. You stay there.
Yeah, I'll stay.
Don't you go. You talk to everyone by yourself.
I'll stay here. So this is where it'd be fun if we had a like a live. Doing a live podcast, we could have people chiming. I have to do that one day. Get the laptop set up, and we can just have people commenting on things. I think you get some humour out of that. I think you get. Cans are all good.
I'm pretty professional.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Very professional. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, like I said, sometimes so I started making shorts. So not clothing, but for YouTube shorts.
Like stubbies. I started making stubbies, but I made the key pocket a bit more universal, a bit bigger. You take a couple of keys.
Well, I can take like your car fob now.
Yeah,
something useful. But I started making shorts.
Of what?
Cheers,
buddy.
Of these long form. So, like I do a podcast like this goes for an hour and a half or something.
Yeah.
Someone. So, got a piece of, again, Blackmagic. Thumbs up to Blackmagic. Amazing hardware, amazing video software. Free software, DaVinci Resolve. Drop your video in there and you just like scroll through it and the little window up there's going and stop and listen and go, all right. And then you just set your little markers for as long as it's less than a minute, it'll become a YouTube short. So if you scroll on YouTube, you get those little ones, you just flick them up, shorts. Yeah. So, started making those, and you get some good feedback on those. And it surprises me, like that random people out there will see a short and will take the time to sometimes not only like it or subscribe, but to even go as far as to write a comment about it. So if you're getting comments on that, like imagine having a live feed and a good topic, you'd just be like, oh my God, look at these. They think we're complete jokers.
You just watch it, eh?
Yeah.
I do think that some of the best parts of YouTube, apart from the great content, is you take 10 minutes just to read the comments.
The comments.
Fuck, it's gold.
Yeah. Some people are witty, hey?
Oh, yeah. But not as witty as I. Now, I'm probably going to get this wrong. Bless my wife, she shows them. But she's jumped onto on Facebook on the local community pages. Mm-hmm. Have you read any of those?
No.
I tell you, man, some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. I'm not big on Twitter, obviously, or Facebook. I can't really get the hang of it. But, mate, what these people post, and some of it you go, are they actually taking the piss? They're serious. It's, people got nothing to do. Yeah. And they're posting in their local areas. And you pick an area you think is going to be funny because it's got some quirkiness. I'm going to leave it at that, but get a chance to jump on it. Get on your local Helensville community page after this and just read some of the shit.
Yeah. So, some people are real witty people, and you just see it come through on Twitter because you've got that short format. So the more Spartan you can be, even the better. So what's
your content quantity? What are you allowed on? How many characters are you allowed on the Twitter feed? Because you can't just do a massive post, can you?
No. You can, but it'll break it into separate tweets. Like if you send a long SMS or something, it'll break it down. I think it's 280 characters. It used to be 140. I think it might be 280 now. But you can post videos in there. And just recently I've seen it looks like you can even post, say, 2 or 3 videos together. So your tweet comes out and it's got like 3 little windows, but if you click onto them, they're actually 3 individual videos you can watch. So you can pump a fair bit of content out in a tweet, just limited in what you can write in terms of text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Carney pumped out a bit of stuff, and now he's not doing so well, is he?
Mm.
Oh, mate, everyone's turned on him, haven't they?
He's an
Jesus.
interesting character. I've never taken enough time to actually sit down, watch interviews with him, and listen. But I keep on getting these wildly divergent viewpoints. Like on one hand, he's a genius, god of music, all this sort of stuff. On the other hand, he's bipolar. He's completely nuts.
Yeah.
And then he'll pop up on some topics, and I'm like, that sounds a bit weird. Do a bit of research, like, oh, actually, that sounds right. And then he's always coming up with some weird thing. I'm like, I'm going to have to go and research this to find out.
Field, man. He flips, doesn't he? Well,
yeah.
Might have some stuff going on. He was saying he was going to run for president. Now that's just a publicity stunt, but he's racked it back up again.
Well, but then again, America now, it's just ripe for someone like that. Now, they've got Joe Biden, who, unless people are filling my feed with complete deep fake videos, he looks like he's got dementia.
Yeah, man, he is.
You know, so you got to be thinking that there's opportunity for, I don't know who, but Harrison Ford to say, I'm running for president. He'd get a lot of votes.
Bless that bastard.
Wouldn't he? Just because he's that famous.
Yeah, well,
not a great, it's just an example.
No, it's a great example. I mean, who would have ever thought, I didn't realise, I think Schwarzenegger was the governor.
Yes, of California.
Yeah, but for a long period of time. It wasn't. I thought it was a short stint. It was years, like quite a while.
Yeah.
So, anyone can do it.
Well, he married into the political family. He married
Maria
Shriver. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the other hand, if the Democrats are going to put up, Whoopi Goldberg, again, she'd get a heap of votes.
Yeah, it's true.
If she went, but that's the thing. It's such a popularity contest. No, it's not true. Lots of people wouldn't really be able to write down the policies of their party. They have a rough idea, I suppose, but they can all go, oh, I like that guy, or I like that girl, I'll vote for them because they're famous and I like the look of them.
Yeah, it is a bit of a, you're right, it is a bit of a popularity contest.
The person I reckon who will be the next president is Ron DeSantis from Florida.
You think so?
Governor of Florida, yeah. I reckon he'll get it.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a push back against Biden. I think the Republicans will get it.
It's inevitable, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that DeSantis will be. He's just doing so well in terms of his media.
Yeah, he's clever.
Yeah, how he just seems to go. He seems to fit that conservative zone, which I think is where the pushback is going to be against the quite far left Biden approach. I can't see anyone else in that landscape. Not that I follow it that closely, but
no.
Unless Trump has a crack. If Trump comes back, then that might be an issue because that might split the vote, and that could actually get the Democrats back in. A lot of people will go for Trump. A lot of people will want DeSantis. I reckon Trump would be better to stay out of it and let DeSantis win, but I don't think that's in his makeup.
Never a chance, mate.
Yeah.
Did anything come of the FBI thing where they raided the mansion? Did they find anything from it? He's turning it down, saying they found nothing, and the FBI have been very quiet about it.
Nothing.
Pretty major sweep through the place.
Like that whole Russia thing that went on for years and years with the FBI and came to nothing.
Zip.
We didn't find, but it wasn't even just a zip. Oh, we just hush the things that we found. It was like didn't find anything.
Yeah, usually if there's a hush, surely.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make that song and dance about going in there, and it wasn't. When they did Trump's, it wasn't quiet. They stormed it.
No. Yeah.
But nothing came out, eh? But, well, maybe it did. Who knows? But
I saw an interesting little video too with Michael. Remember, it was like Trump's right-hand man, Michael. I can't think of his surname now. Who eventually could turn and went to prison.
He turned though, didn't he?
Yeah. So the interview I saw with him the other day, he said, "Do you know what I was in prison for? Like what he'd actually got done for? Apparently, in his position to the Senate or whatever it was, or Congress, when he had been asked how many times had the Trumps talked to someone or done something, he said 3 times. Turns out it was 10 times.
Right.
And that's what he got done for. Instead of saying they did it 10 times, because he said he'd been asked by the Trumps, no, don't say 10 times. 10 times sounds bad. Just say 3 times. So he said 3 times. And that's what he got done for.
Asked by the Trumps. Sounds good, eh? Asked by the Trumps.
Yeah.
The mafia, mate. They all, looks like the families are. But of course, wasn't Ivanka gonna? That's the daughter. She was gonna run, wasn't she?
Ivana,
sorry.
Ivanka's the mum. Yeah.
She was gonna run, wasn't she?
Yeah, I did. I heard that a while ago, but I don't know. I think Trump could get back in. I don't know that the kids would.
No.
you know, I don't think
have they?
I don't. Well, I just don't think they've got the clout or the. You know, there's something about sometimes. You know, you have there's a, let's say the father, you know, is very successful, and then the kids just aren't.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like cheap imitations in a way. Like I remember with
talk like they are.
Yeah,
act like they are.
Yeah, but they're just not. You just look at them. It's just that's just different attitude. Like Kerry Packer in Australia. Kerry Packer and his son James. You know, Kerry was just a force of nature. James wasn't, but he got dragged into you. Know, you've got to be the heir and take over. He's just like he should have just gone and surfed or something.
Are you saying Kerry Packer wouldn't have married Mariah Carey?
Yeah, I don't think he would have.
Because that went down well. That was a good relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. I think DeSantis has got it.
What's that? Is it Mary Polonsky? See, her husband's got butchered by a hammer. Some people intruded into her house. Did I get that right?
No, Pelosi.
Pelosi, sorry. That was pretty bad.
So that's an interesting story. It's emerging now because it's interesting how the left are trying to paint the guy who hit Paul, her husband, with the hammer as being far right. You know, neo-Nazi kind of thing. And the guy is famous for being a nude protester. He lives in California. The house that he lives in is covered in like rainbow flags and Black Lives Matters and all this sort of stuff. So he's very left-leaning. Yeah. But they're saying, he's been indoctrinated by MAGA and the right. Doesn't sound like it. But it's a strange story too. It's like, how did he get into her house? She's number...
Exactly.
She's number 3 in line, I think, for presidency. If Biden pops his clogs and then Kamala, something were to happen to her, then it goes to whatever role she holds.
Really?
Yeah. Or at least it did when Trump was in power. If Trump and Pence had gone, if their plane had crashed or whatever, they'd been on the same plane at the same time, Pelosi was in. And I think she still holds that same. She's the Speaker of the House. Yes. I think she still holds that role. So I think she's third. Wow. So she's third. How does this random dude get into her house?
Yeah, yelling out her name.
Yeah.
And take old mate who's 80s or whatever. He sounded like he got a bit of a hammer.
But apparently the police said something came out today. There were 2 people in the house. So there was some weird statement. It was like, we went past one unidentified person and saw the 2 combatants then or whatever standing there, and I think he hadn't been hit then until the police turned up, and then the police said to the guy, "Put the hammer down," and that's when he went and clobbered him with it. That's an interesting story.
It's a little bit odd, mate. And that's the thing with Kamala. Like, you think she would have had more of a presence, I thought. She was the heir after Biden. I felt at the start of the election that they're going to push her through. Right? She's going to do what Hillary couldn't do, but I think she's quite quiet. She's not really.
I just think they realise that she can't.
She's not cutting the mustard.
She just doesn't cut the mustard. She just hasn't got the spunk or the spark. No. I think otherwise, it's not like there's not a great crater there waiting for her to fill with Biden wandering off and mumbling to himself and shaking hands with ghosts. Yeah. It's 100% with you. I think they've realised that she can't do it, or you would have seen her. She's been so quiet. You just would have seen her popping up everywhere and leading them around, and they'd be moving her into the picture, and you'd be like, the natural progression. Biden's going to go, here's your new president, woman president, black, we're the best. Why isn't that happening?
Bring it back. Twitter will go mad. Trump will say he's running again. Hillary will say she's running. It'll be on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your Twitter feed's going to blow up.
Oh, it's even blown up in the last couple, because it was only on Friday afternoon, I think, that the deal went through and Elon got it. And it's been going pretty crazy then, just people like hurling bombs at each other. And the employees who left Twitter, but who actually were just 2 dudes who turned up with cardboard boxes pretending to be like one of them's surname was Johnson, the other one's surname was Ligma, so they were Ligma Johnson. and Trump Twitter, Elon comes out Elon tweets, Ligma Johnson will be sadly missed. Like, he knew it was rubbish.
He knew.
But some reporter was like, these guys seem really distressed. And the guy's standing there, just doing a parody of these really left woke characters going, look, I've got a Tesla. I don't know how I'm going to make the payments. And I'm going to have to go home and speak to my husband and wife and just discuss this. And they're gobbling it up, going, these poor guys, look what he's done. He's so mean.
Doesn't take much, eh?
Nah.
Have you seen... what's their follow them? Uninspired, unemployed, the two Aussie dudes.
Unemployed. No.
Uninspired, unemployed. I think that's it. I'll send you the link. These are two dudes that they've just made it. They've just created their following's huge, and they just make little parody videos. They actually came to New Zealand and got stuck here at lockdown and lived down the South Island and made a whole lot down there on building sites and stuff. It doesn't sound great, but I'll send you the link. It's actually worth watching. They're the shorts, like a minute long, but they are hilarious. The creativeness on these guys, just two Aussie dudes that have just taken it by storm, man. Just a classic example of you can just see they're just a couple of dudes that just have fun.
Yeah.
Doing what they're doing, get dressed up, make funny videos. They'll make videos about tradies and apprentices and just how they act, and it's gold, mate. And they've just cracked it. Their following's huge, like worldwide following. Like,
the different formats. The thing I've just stumbled across the other day on YouTube, it's funny. It's a couple of, it's Aussies again. It's about three dudes. They're sitting down having some beers like this with microphones, and they're just telling jokes to each other. And it's like occasionally one of their friends or one of their girlfriends comes in, will tell a joke, and there's a girl stands in the corner. It's like she's writing down notes. Anyhow, like, it's a weird little format, but it's pretty funny, and like, they're just doing stuff like, did you hear about the cross-eyed circumcision, doctor? So he's like, no. You got the sack. It's just all sorts of shit, dumb jokes. But one dude just can't handle, like, as they're saying it, he's losing his shit. It's almost like they're trying not to laugh to each other's jokes. He's just losing it.
I don't know what's funnier, when you laugh at someone's jokes, or you're in a room, or you watch something like that on TV where people can't stop laughing.
Yeah.
Like, when people can't stop laughing, you go to that place where you go, fuck, I've been there.
Yeah.
And no matter how hard you try, you cannot stop laughing, eh?
Yeah. And then when, like, you just look at the person again and it keeps going and going and going.
It's the best feeling. It's the worst feeling, but it's sometimes inappropriate.
Yeah.
But it's also the funniest feeling. You just watch, when someone else laughs, it's contagious, right?
But I don't know why. I'll get in trouble with Renee for doing something dumb. She'll be sparking up. She'll be really angry at me. I'm like, I'm biting the inside of my mouth because I'm like, I'm going to laugh here. I know I shouldn't, but I can't help. This is just my body's reaction as I'm going to laugh.
If you do laugh, it's going to be bloody frosty,
get worse.
Right? It's not going to be good. And then it tense at the old war office. Oh, Jesus. You try and change the subject, but then it stakes, and then a minute later...
I said to Renee just before I started doing the podcast, I was like, I can't wait for that moment, Renee. Exactly like you said, that moment where I'm talking to someone and we're just laughing so hard we can't stop. Like, I'm just looking forward to that.
It's good, man.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's always at that weirdest times. It's never really scripted or anything, right? It's just someone will do something really funny. There's a show, Jimmy Carr hosts it. Is it something about cats or something? Have you seen it? It's a game show and he has celebrities.
Oh, not Distraction.
No. It's a similar. I'll send that one through. I'll leave it now, but I'll send it through. There's a one clip where a guy has a poem, and I'm going to leave it at that because when you see it, you'll and the whole no one can stop laughing. Like, and when I could put it on mute and watch, not know what they're saying, but you've got 6 guests and Jimmy Carr like literally they're tears. They're live TV and they're just wiping tears, and you think, mate, you've cracked it. That's why guests come on your show, right? To laugh like that. They're all funny people.
This is a video of the people with funny laughs. They got 6 people sitting down, and they just get one of them started, and they laugh, and it sounds like a donkey braying. And then this one over here starts, and it's like a giraffe farting. You're just like, what are these sounds? Yes. And then they're all going, and they're just like going off one another.
On a left field, actually, speaking of, you said distraction, there's a show, I'm assuming it's older. I don't know how we got onto it. Maybe we don't watch a lot of TV, to be honest. I just like to watch what I like to watch. But me and Rachel watching something, I think it was a Friday night, it was about 9:30, and a show came on called Naked Attraction. It's a game show. Have you seen that?
No.
Seriously, like, we were watching this going, what's she going to do? And then so they'll put 6 people in a tube. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. No, literally, they stand there in a tube. So it's a big, a circular dome tube thing, and then
like a clear perspex thing. You can see them.
Frosted, you can't see anything.
Oh,
and
right.
So,
okay.
Old mate with a girl will walk in. They do two, and they'll say, I'm looking for love.
Right.
Well, that's the right place to come, isn't it? For a start, in front of 3 million people on a game show. That's where you're going to find it. And they come in and they describe what they want and everything, and then she leads them out to the stage, and there's an audience and everything, and I'm assuming it's a popular show. And so they'll and they'll go up to their knees and stuff, and they'll say, "What do you think? Who do you like about the legs?" And that, and then the schlong will pop out. I'm looking at Rach, she's looking at me going, "It's 9:30 Friday. Are we watching this?" And then the other way, the dude will come in and then they'll go up and then they'll downstairs. Oh, Jesus. Is that what it looks like? And it's the weirdest show, mate. It's actually a naked attraction. That's how they find love. And then at the end, this is gold. So it's kind of almost mean because they've got to nail it down. So they go 6, they go, okay, you got to eliminate one, and then they've got to say why. It's like, well,
I can't see the head of his todger yet, so he's out.
Tell you why, his nuts are at his knee, and his schlongs in his pubes, and then so eliminate, and you get down to 2. It's this awkward bit where they choose the 2 and they come out.
And they haven't seen their heads yet.
No, heads are up. At this stage, they've met them, they're talking to them.
Oh, right.
And then they say it's the 2 dudes. So the 2 dudes come out, and they're standing there with the host. Just
Suckers.
nude. Yeah, nude. And then she'll say, all right, Sharon, you go off and come out. So Sharon will trot off at the back, and then all the dry ice will come in. She'll walk out nude as well. And then she has to they have a bit more of a chat, the 3 of them, and then she chooses, I'm going to go with Jeff. And so poor old Steve shots off, and then they just focus on Steve's ass wobbling and winkling, and he just walks out and he's all gutted because he's missed out. And then those 2 have a hug. It's the more I talk about it, it's so bizarre. And then it just swaps roles, and the host never gets nude; she's always standing there. But then it'll be 6 women, and you're just looking at it and you go, "This is quite bizarre."
You got to imagine, like, sitting in the office on like a Thursday afternoon, about 2:00 after lunch, and someone walks in and says, "Hey, boss, I've got an idea." It's got to be huge. What is it?
It's a little bit left field, but
just listen to me.
Yeah, hear me out. I mean, who has the confidence to? And I mean, none of us are oil paintings. Let's be honest. But
who?
If old mate's got it, like, mate, if you're hung like a donkey, you're going to go on that show, right? If you're not having any luck, you're going to go. But mate, it's a real cross section of people, bodies, mate. Yeah, and then the gutsy kudos to them, and I'm assuming they're getting some money for it because. That is 5 seconds of fame that I would not want.
No.
There's screenshots going all over. There's memes everywhere.
Yeah.
On these, mate, and it's whoa.
Like,
they're not models, mate.
Do they have that?
None of us are, but they're not models. It's like that's not what you think is going to be on.
Do they have that moment as the tube starts to rise up above their ankles, and they're like, "Fuck, I shouldn't have done this." Yeah. It's cold. Yeah. The air conditioning's cold in here tonight. But you said it was going to be warm in here. This isn't fair. This isn't me.
What have we got this down to? Like minus something? Yeah. Oh, it's bizarre. It's quite bizarre. I don't even know where that came from. Now I sound like a perv, but that was we were just watching one night. I think we watched like a couple of episodes, bit of giggle, but then it's got a bit weird. But it's weird, mate. It was obviously a popular show because it was.
Is it European or is it American?
English.
English. Well, there you go. Yeah.
Kudos to them, mate. They're all.
Yeah.
All right, Gov. Yeah.
The Bombs love their nudity. Yeah, they've always loved a bit of running around nude. Benny Hill show. It's in their DNA. Just get out and run around.
Well, nudity and also on the cusp of day and age. I was thinking the other day, I think we might have been talking. Do you remember that show Rainbow? Zippy and Bungle?
No, Rainbow. Is that the one where I've seen some videos afterwards where she's like, I'm patting on your bongos or something, and it's just been all innuendo, but
so much innuendo. And mate, what would Rainbow have been? 70s Rainbow?
Yeah,
I know the song, but
we didn't get
it
in Australia.
It was bad. Like, you watch that now, Zippy, Bungle, George, and it was just innuendo.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, how that got by. And it's just a whole lot of stoners just making a show, mate. You can tell they're on something, man. They're like in this day and age, you go, you're on the glass Barbie, man, and there's no cheese scissors on your Barbie, if you know what I mean. And these dudes are just giving it. And it's like the guy off Blue's Clues. Remember Blue's Clues?
No, again, it's another one that we just didn't get.
Well, that's a bit more recent than that. But this dude kudos to him. He came up with an idea, and he was in front of a green screen in a room. Something about Blue's Clues. Got nothing but Blue's Clues. And he talked to the kids, and he was glass Barbie up to the mat. I mean, he disappeared for 4 years. Everyone thought he was dead, but I think he was just in rehab. But he just made so much money doing a green screen.
Oh,
show
kids,
for kids, mate.
kids shows, man. Jesus, I think that the most well-paid Australian performers are the Wiggles. No shit.
Yeah,
I think
literally, right.
I think they're top 3 and have been for years. You know, like when one of the Wiggles retires, like you want to fight for that role and just get in, turn up in the red suit and sing the songs and like the money's rolling in.
That's classic, because I always thought, why would you get out? Because a couple of them left, and I think a couple of them had relationships and left. Why would you ever leave the Wiggles? You're going to put on a pole next skivvy and you're going to leave the Wiggles for singing in front of kids.
Yeah.
More money than you know what to do with.
Well, that's the thing. I think they've got more money than they know what to do with. It's like, I can give up the Wiggles now. I can never spend this much money. They make, like, they're Australia's top paid performers. They have to be on some good coin.
Well, they come here and sell out. Remember, they come and do a show here.
They sell out everywhere.
And so what attracts, you know with your kids, it's probably grown up a bit now, but people used to watch a show, Pingu or something, you know? Like,
Pingu. Yeah.
what the hell, kids' attraction to Pingu? A crazy animated penguin.
It has changed, but Locke's an interesting example. When Locke was a bit younger, now he doesn't so much, but when he was a bit younger, you know, when he was probably 4 or 5 maybe, his favourite thing to watch is this guy called Zach, who has a YouTube channel where he plays Mario and some other games, but mostly I think he plays Mario, all the new Mario games, and Locke would watch that, and that was his favourite show, just to watch this guy playing the game. Locke wasn't playing, he was just watching. Yeah.
Changed, eh?
Favourite thing.
Changed, man. I swear we were watching The Love Boat with Captain Stubing and Doc.
Yeah.
And Tom Selleck. We were watching Magnum P.I.
And MASH.
Oh, MASH.
Yeah.
Hot Lips Houlihan. Oh, how good. Those shows are so good. I saw that thing the other day, that snippet of Michael J. Fox. Did you see that?
Oh, was this a thing about his wife and their marriage?
No, he came on stage, a surprise, to see Doc from the movie. And he was, I mean, we all know he's obviously
Parkinson's.
badly sick. But he was a real opener, man.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, have you seen the come back that. Have you seen the video? This is going back a few years now. Of the guy, his name's Tim. He's an acrobat, I believe, and this documentary is about he's got early onset Parkinson's. You know, so it starts off. He's sitting on a couch, and they're like, "Can you take your jumper off?" And he just kind of. Really? He struggles to get his jumper off, sort of thing. So anyhow, the documentary is about what he had discovered. So he'd gone out with his mates one night. They'd taken him out. They're like, "Mate, do you want a pill? Do you want some ecstasy?" He's like, "I'll go on." He had one, and he's like, "Fuck, my shakes have stopped." And so they do this documentary, and so it's a really good documentary. But the end of it's just golden. So. You know, they do the placebo day and then they do the other day. So obviously on the day he's given the placebo, they're like, "Take your jumper off," and his tremors are just horrible. He's like that. The day he's had the pill, it's like, "Take your jumper off," and he's like, "No. All right, take my jumper off." It does that. So it's known now that ecstasy MDMA has an effect on people with Parkinson's. It reduces the tremors. It's a good thing. But what's great about this documentary is like the end credits as it's rolling off. The day he's had the ecstasy, they've got some music going. He's just standing there, just in front of the camera, just like rocking and rolling, just dancing and having fun. But but that was a pretty cool discovery. So if you get Parkinson's, you just need to get yourself some ecstasy, and it seems to moderate the tremors.
So would a fair argument be, and it's not cast aspersions, but if you were taking a bit of ecstasy, you could say it's to keep the Parkinson's away. Maybe that's a viable reason to take it.
I think you could take it. You could take it as yes. You could take it as a medical treatment, because you would imagine if someone was to say, "Oh, here's a pill for people suffering from Parkinson's, it'll stop your tremors." People are like, "Give it to me."
Yeah.
Oh, well, here it is. It just happens to be called MDMA, ecstasy.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I have fun and it stops the tremors.
I'm at an Avicii concert and I've got no tremors.
Yeah, it works for me.
We did a whole lot of work for a company called Helios. Really good bunch of dudes. Three of them. I can forget their names now. JP, someone else, and someone else. They started company medical marijuana plant out of I won't say where it is. Medical marijuana plant in this place in Auckland, and what a setup, mate! Like this factory is massive.
Wow.
Originally, when we had a look, we were just doing a bit of work in the office, and the factory is. He just took us out and he said, "Look, mate, I think it was one of the breweries were leasing the space, and we went up to the top office, looked out the mezzanine floor, and the factory, as far as you could see, was
Plants.
impressive by itself. No, nothing at the stage. It was full of beer, because DB or Lime were using it as a store for their Christmas rush, and then they were getting the lease in January, so then it was get clear. I mean, it's mad. His football field's long. It's a big setup. And he said, mate, it's going to be all plants. I was like, yeah, classic, mate. He said, no, it's going to be all plants, mate. Sure enough, so we built all the offices and stuff from out the front of house, and then the back of house with the HVAC, and it was a big cutting the slabs, putting in ventilator, a massive project. But the scale of it is incredible, man. Yeah. And when he first started, so when we were still building this, we got a third generation cultivator here from Hawaii. So his granddad, dad. So third generation. So he's looking after the plants. So they've made 3 dummy insulated panel rooms for different stages to work out how it was. So, maybe the project was 12 weeks for us. Over a period of the last sort of 4 weeks, when we're almost finished, we go out and do a bit of a site check, make sure they're all happy. And we go, come have a look. And he's got it on his video. He's got cameras live. It's like, you remember that show Day of the Triffids? Do you ever see that one where the plants used to grow and kill people? And
yeah.
The speed, and obviously now it's a silly thing to say, but in hindsight, that's how they make their money grow. But they had 3 different rooms and 3 different techniques, 3 different lights, and even the worst room for growing was just weekly. The difference was incredible. So,
wow.
Such a fascinating business, man.
Oh, yeah.
They're one of a few that have, I think, lasted and got some, not funding, but got some sign off by the government. But I remember saying to him, mate, like, not a brain surgeon, bud, but how are you going to get it out of here, mate? You're in a cul-de-sac. Some serious security towards the end. Some big, don't want to stereotype them, but I call them the Russians.
Yeah.
They had some dogs that looked like would take your fucking leg off, mate. So you come up to the gate. So I was just used to coming and going. Yeah. As soon as the plant started, as soon as that shit starts happening, I said, mate, how are you going to stop the gangs and that? And so he said, mate, it's a problem. We've got a site where, so they're either going to buy a whole lot of vans and mark them up as courier, because the van's coming and going. So they're taking the oil, the finished product out. Yeah. He said, mate, to be honest, we'll just be covered. Once it leaves our gates, we've done our job. Yep. We've signed for it. I can't tell you what's going to happen, because this was just a cul-de-sac in the middle of a suburb, which it was only one way in, one way out. It's a fascinating industry, man. Some of the dollar figures they were talking about, because there's a Kiwi guy does it, and I forget his name. I think he must have thrown some cash in. He must be one of the investors. But there's an American guy, a Kiwi in America, that's one of the biggest biggest oil producers over there. But watching these guys, I mean, it's like having a vineyard. There's a lot of hard yakking before you're reaping any rewards. You've got to have some cash behind you, but I don't know how they're doing now, but I suggest that they will crank. Like, it's a serious facility, done right.
Well, I guess they're ready. They're ready, as long as it doesn't take too long. They're ready to get into the medical market initially, and if they want to get out of that and just go, once it gets legalised and go into normal production, they're ready to go.
And animals, they're going to animal market. They've got someone they must have known, a woman who's a scientist or some form of at university, and she's done a thesis on CBD oil on animals. So they've started that. Quite smart.
Like pain relief for animals and things like that. Oh, yeah.
Incredible situation. It's cool to be part of it from the start. I mean, nothing to do with what they've done. It's just, as I say, we purely did the offices. But going for the journey was quite cool. He's a really open guy, a really cool guy, JP. Just pretty straight shooter, just happy to show you what it is. I mean, there's no harm to him. But I just remember the security, and then I'm thinking, mate, this is going to be a target, mate. You think Ram Raids or Michael Hill Jewelers are bad. These guys are going to be hit every time they leave this facility, and that big gate opens. Open fodder, mate. You got a finished product there, which is what the market's demanding, which the market's paying for. It's not like it's a halfway market. It's pretty much ready to go by then, I thought.
But isn't the medical marijuana, does it contain much THC? Like, do you actually get a buzz off it, or is it more just that it's got the CBD in it for the pain relief component?
You must be right. There must be some way it gets through the.
I got a feeling that the medical marijuana. Well, no, this might be right. This might be wrong. But I think in general, the medical marijuana is cultivated to have more of the CBD in it, because you can get CBD oil, and CBD oil, it's good for pain relief, all those kind of things. I think it's grown more to have that in it and less of the THC, and the THC is what tends to give you the high, Yeah. So you get a plant, like a sativa plant which has been grown as a strain where it's like 90% THC. That's going to give you that real fun, buzz, interested, want to go and be creative. If you get it with lots of CBD, you're not going to have that whole head buzz.
Have you tried CBD?
No, I've never tried CBD oil.
Because a little while ago, our friends, she used to bring it in to give to her a relative as pain relief, but she used to bring it from Canada, just order it and put it under something else on the disclosure slip, tiny quantities. But you couldn't buy it. You couldn't buy it here. Yeah. And now I think when you Google it, there's certain pharmacists or not Life Pharmacy, but certain people are creating it. But it's always it seems to be a component or a mixture of a percentage of. Like when you look at, if I'm watching YouTube videos of Carl Rothman, the surfer, and he takes it for pain relief, and that that's just normal for, but it doesn't seem to be free and easy here yet. Might be now. This was a year ago. But.
No, I agree with you. I think you would have heard about it more if it were free and easy here. Yeah, interesting. Actually, there's Andrew Huberman, a podcast on cannabis. It's I've watched a little bit of it. I need to go back and watch all of it. But it's where he's talking about exactly the whole thing, the different strains, what the different chemicals do within the different strains, benefits, drawbacks, that sort of thing. From the intro that I've watched and a little bit of it that I've watched, it seems like the drawbacks are around people who are predisposed to schizophrenia, which is everyone's kind of known. Like some people just can't smoke pot because it's just not good for them mentally. And then, I think other than that, a lot of other people are fine with it, use it for different reasons, stress relief, pain relief, all that kind of thing. It certainly works for pain relief. I stacked my mountain bike and really hurt my hip. I knocked myself silly. Didn't knock myself out, or I concussed myself enough that I picked my bike up and came walking back up the hill and said to my mate something along the lines of, "Hey, I made it." And they're like, not quite. Are you all right? Yeah. I was like, did I not make it? They're like, not really. No. Are you okay? And then I got to the top of the hill and I was like, fuck, my hip's sore, man. Oh, I can't walk properly. And so they whizzed me off to hospital to see if I damaged something, but I just bruised it really badly. But at the hospital, they gave me like Panadol Fortes and Tramadols and all these sort of things. And I remember taking them for the first day or two and just going, these things are horrible. This can't work. And so I had some pot and I was like, oh, this is way better.
Yeah.
Why
wouldn't you?
Quite happy. The pain is manageable. I can kind of feel the pain and deal with it and move around it. Yeah, much better approach.
But you kind of know you say before about the drawbacks and the pros and cons, but you kind of got a pretty good idea of what you're doing.
Yeah.
I always say, pump you full of those drugs.
You don't know what.
Not a conspiracy theorist, but you just don't know what's in it. So why wouldn't you go to natural medicine? I mean, why would you pump yourself full of a mass-produced product that the pharmacists, those massive pharmaceutical companies say, no, it's all good.
Yeah.
They made like $30 billion last year and they don't really know what happened. So
there's
no testing done, mate.
No testing done.
It's like a COVID vaccine. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I mean, they had to get something out quick. But I don't think it was tested, mate.
Yeah.
Chuck it in, you mate. You're right. Get 3 doses.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some interesting information coming out now around the level of testing that was or wasn't done, which is interesting to read and go, oh, okay. Would have been nice to know all of that beforehand, I suppose.
And you realise it's a rush thing and what have you, but
But pot, like it's been around for thousands of years. People have used it.
Wasn't that referendum? What a waste of money. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
You're voting for what, mate? Like, go around general society.
Yeah.
I could tell you, ravel of 5 people now that would sit around and have pot at a barbecue.
Yeah.
And if you looked at it from the outside, you go, they wouldn't even touch this stuff. Oh, yeah, right, even, mate.
Yeah.
They're basically my dealer, mate. They touch it. It's just this whole perception. So you think you can pick someone that smokes pot, and that's what they're saying. Oh, there are these stoners going around. You don't have a fucking clue, you people.
Shit, what's interesting, I was talking to a couple of mates. One of them for a particular reason, his old man's starting to suffer from dementia and things like that. So they've started getting some mushies. Nice. And his father has been just microdosing on those because they're giving him relief with his dementia.
Really?
Yeah. And this dude, like, you look at him and you'd go, nah, he doesn't do much.
How did they get down that track? Did he do some research? Or did he say,
he's look, I would say my friend, his son, his son, probably did the research and was like, Dad, try this. This is something you should do. He's a smart guy. But then another friend, the other day, I was talking to the other day, and again, just like I would not have picked, and he's like, oh yeah.
Good, eh? Like, it's just. That's what I mean. It's behind closed doors, or that perception of we can pick someone. You can't pick a thing. You would have a clue.
But this is the thing. These are smart people.
Yeah.
These people are choosing to do this because there are benefits to it. They're not like these guys aren't just throwing their lives down the toilet, smoking crack all day and doing pee and what have you. No. These are choosing a particular product, natural product, been around it's been around forever. We've been involved with it as humans for thousands and thousands of years. And
I love that dance of the tippy toe dance of just if you're out or you're with friends, you've known and there's the old tippy-toe around the day, and it's a little hitch dropped, and you go, did I pick on that? No. And someone's texting, Rachel's texting me, go, did they say what I thought? I don't know. I'm just going to go to the loo, you're texting me, did they just fucking say? Next minute, a Tupperware container comes out, wrapped in 3 Glad bags, 4 lots of tape, and no one's getting through my smell. It's a classic, mate. It's just such a big deal about it, and we all know what a referendum on that. I mean, you hope the turnout was good, but if it's like a local election, mate, it was probably a tiny amount of people turned out. And it was such a close result. What was the point in that?
I know. And again, it's just another example of the government going, oh, well, we know what's best. We'll figure it out, Phil.
Of course we do. I
saw the most interesting video, because I remember Ronald Reagan, but I was too young at the time to actually have taken any notice. But an interview with him on he was on some late night TV show, and he's being interviewed about some problems going on with the government. And Ronald Reagan openly says, the problem is the government. The government shouldn't be this big. Government should be smaller. They shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't be meddling. And I was like, wow, that's bang on. Yeah.
Ronald Reagan and The Simpsons, they can both pick things in the future.
Yeah. The Simpsons have done such a good job.
I don't know. You think, that's not rigged. That's legit, eh? Some of the shows they've done years ago, and you get replays of that and you go, this is a conspiracy. Someone doctored the...
Did someone give them the script early?
Someone made Bart's mouth move, and it's like ventriloquist, because what they're saying is freaky.
Yeah.
And those Matt Groening or whatever, and the other guy that created it, can't be that genius. Like, there's something going on there. Even the Donald Trump stuff was a classic.
Yeah. They got so close. But there's heaps of stuff they've done like that. Yeah. But that's like... again, this only popped up a little bit for me. I haven't delved into it to go research it. But allegedly, and if people are watching this, tell me if I'm completely wrong, that a few years ago, the Israel lottery, the lottery happened, like one Saturday night or wherever that happens. It happened. The next week, the same numbers were drawn as the week before. Now that can't happen.
Obviously.
Yeah, which means that if that was somehow like they were 2 live draws, then there's something going on there.
Jesus.
Yeah. Because it could be complete bullshit. I'm not,
That throws a spanner in the works, mate.
But if people go back, if you sort of look and you go, okay, that did happen, you're like, well, something's not right there. Something smells fishy then, if that's the case.
Well, and that same principle could be put into what we're thinking about with The Simpsons, right? That was bizarre. The accuracy of what they're saying was, something's wrong there, mate.
The Simpsons was great, the way it changed from the first season, where it was about Bart, to then becoming about Homer.
Yeah.
And just moving home, because Homer's way funnier.
Yeah. The sisters are the best, mate. Yeah. I bump into people, and sometimes we deal with people, I just call them Marge's sisters, mate. Sometimes she said, I just looked at the lady the other day, and I said, it was a boring story for everyone, but we had to core drill down through a concrete floor and run some pipe work for some plumbing for a fit out. And they're a separate tenancy, so I got the job of the building. So I'll touch base. So I touched base with this lady, Tanya, and she said, she answered the phone, she goes, hello? And I was like, oh, Jesus, no. All I could think about was the sisters, right? So I had this vision in my head, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Anyway, she was a cool chick. She said, mate, I've just seen the email. She goes, thank fuck you rang. She works at it's a computer company. And, she obviously has a store and that. She said, look, mate, there's millions of dollars worth of stuff in this room, so we've got to be a little bit careful. Emails I don't like. I'm glad you rang. And then she said, I said, look, the core drilling, just so it gives you just a heads up, like it's a dry core drill. There's not shit splattering. My guys will be there with plastic. I'll cover everything for you. She goes, I'll fucking stop you there, Dan. I said, I was a drain layer for 14 years. And then I broke my back. And I went, oh, okay. So just back to the core drilling. There's not going to be any mess in that. I said, oh, how'd you break your back? She goes, well, drain laying, obviously. So just give it to me. So I said, well, you're obviously not a good drain layer. But this lady sounded a mirror image of one of the sisters. So I've just got this vision of a, and I would say so, a ciggy out of one hand, probably a little Woodstock 8%er in the other at work, just having a tipple. Great, mate. You meet some characters. And then it's relating them back to TV shows, which is the bad thing. It's like, Jesus, I'm dealing with one of the sisters. Left field. I just had to get that off my chest because I can't explain to anyone that I've met one of the Simpson sisters without them going,
I get it. I support you. And now there'll be a community of people who will know too. You're not alone anymore, Dan.
I know.
People know.
I feel it. They're all going, fuck, I deal with it.
People will be coming out in comments. Yeah. It'll be like, I've met that sister
Tanya. She laid my drain. She broke her back at my place. Just the way she said it. Fucking
it's going to stop you there, Dan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
You want another beer or you're right?
Well,
Who knows?
yeah, it's up to you.
You want another?
If you want to.
I wouldn't mind another one, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
I just feel like this is my role.
Yeah.
I'll be back soon.
What was that you were saying at the start? We'll probably talk for 10 minutes. That'll be it. This is the quality viewing that people come to watch. It's when I'm sitting here not talking. Oh, you want to go for a whiz? Yeah, what we'll do, I'll stop it and we'll come back for part 2.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Makes it easy.
We can stop whenever you want.
Yeah.
Listen to my wife.
Yeah, no. No, man. If you